to Scripts and Giggles.
For Shoshana.
And Marnie
We've
Crab.
done this before. We've done this before.
Sorry,
it's fine.
It's been a while. Okay, let's.
No, I think
we just have to keep it as is.
the listeners know who Shoshana is. The listeners know who Marnie is.
Just so you know, I'm Shoshana.
And I'm Shoshana.
You're actually an idiot. You're actually, because we have to go back. I will have to edit this out.
I'm obviously Shoshana.
Please, if I'll start to forget.
Okay, who are you?
Shoshana.
And I'm Marnie.
Nice to meet you guys. How formal.
Thank you for coming. Please take a seat.
Yeah, exactly. We are now going to start our podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is starting.
You are formally invited
Don't
to this
move.
episode.
You sit down now, not move for the next hour and a half. Enjoy.
Yes, we have to keep this an hour and a half.
We do have to keep this an hour and a
Yes.
half. And we definitely, if you're listening to this right now, looking at the length of it, being like, these bitches said this is going to be an hour and a half. It's 3 hours long. I apologise in advance. No, we're going to do it. We're going to do it in an hour and a half.
We'll try, yeah. Keep it short, keep it sweet.
Step 1 of our an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah.
A TikTok thing.
Yes.
This is, I think, becoming the format. We talk about a TikTok thing. We do pop culture news.
And then we get
into it.
Yeah.
TikTok thing of the week, or the week. Actually, no, it feels like the TikTok thing of the week, actually.
Yeah.
Christabel Plummer, I think
Yeah.
is her name, Christabel Plummer. She is an influencer. She went viral for telling a story about how she's a black woman, a 37-year-old black woman, who went viral for telling a story about how she didn't have any black friends until she was 26. She caveated the story by saying she didn't meet black people, but she's saying those casual friends, she didn't have any proper, quote-unquote, proper black friends until she was 26. This obviously is a very hot topic in the black community. Specifically, I don't see it so much with men, actually, which is quite interesting, but specifically with women, and primarily black women, I guess, talking about their experiences, because she does explain that, talking about the experience of having a negative experience with other black women, and then after that being the reason why they didn't have any black friends. And she says she went to predominantly white school. There were like 3 other black girls in the school. She made friends with one mixed race girl. They fell out. Some other girl was racist. She went on to work at Topshop, met some black people, but they weren't really close. She went to go work here, met some black people, they weren't really close. It wasn't until she joined Black Ballad that she met black people that were much more, that she could form more relationships with. And that is basically, it's not this big mystery, that is the story of her thing. She didn't grow up around black people, so she didn't have any black friends. The comment, of course, from other people in the community, it always tends to get split between people on the side of, I get it. I was a black girl who didn't grow up with a lot of other black people, and when I did come around them, they made me feel so other because I didn't like bashment, and I didn't bruck up my hips or whatever, and I didn't bruck it up, so they didn't like me. And then a bunch of other people supporting them, being like, I get it as well. I have never slicked my hair back into a ponytail, and I've never ever worn a wig. I'm not like the other black girls. I just wish people would accept me for me. And it literally just becomes like a little echo chamber of these black women who are like, I'm so edgy and cool and different. There's that side. Then you got the other girls being like, maybe you was the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe those girls was not rude to you. Maybe you need to be told, and you got told, and now what you're doing is what everyone does, which is blame black women for their problems. You had one negative experience with black women, and now, that's why you don't have no black friends. Yeah. Hold on, honey, don't blame me. Don't blame me. So other people saying, it's important, like, sometimes that we do police our community because we have to hold each other to a higher standard. And if I've seen you outside and you've got a nasty wig, it's on me to tell you that your wig nasty, which I don't agree with.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think that's crazy. And then you have people being like, interesting story that you've told. Were you actively trying to find black friends? Or was it that you never came across black people? Like, we need more context. Anyway, she has blown up off this story. She is going on BBC News talking about this story. Yeah. She has become the poster child for, hey, sometimes black people ain't friendly to black people. which is kind of what the narrative has become. I don't think that was the narrative she was trying to make. But when you lead with, one time I saw some black girls on the bus and they were rude to me, people are going to hear, okay, black people weren't nice to other black people. Put that in the newspaper. And on this podcast, we have talked about before experiences that we have had as adolescents. And I've spoken about how some of the meanest people to me in my life were other black girls. Yeah. But that did not stop me having black friends. Because black people are not a monolith, right? Just because one black girl's got a problem with you doesn't mean the entire history of women in coming forward and women who've come past. That doesn't even matter. That's the worst English I've ever used. The women to come and the women who have been come. That's also bad. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. From the past and the worst from the future.
Thank you, sister. Are gonna hate you.
Yeah.
I went to a school that was 50% black, 50% white, basically, and then like 4 Asian people.
Yeah.
I had black friends. My group of friends were majority black. But my group of friends were all women of colour.
Yeah.
There was not, sorry to the whites listening, nary a white girl in our group.
Yeah.
I had white friends at school. There were girls that I was friends with, that I would go to parties with, that I would ride with. All of that stuff, I was friendly with them. But my core group of friends were black and Asian.
Yeah.
Equally, some of the meanest girls in my school that were mean to me were black. It didn't actually affect the way that I saw black women as a whole. That is because, and I don't know, it's interesting listening to Christabel, because it's like, okay, what was the thing that stopped me from going, okay, I had a negative experience with a black girl, so that's it, now I'm not going to speak to another black girl again. And I think the difference is, I already had black friends.
Yeah.
So when a black girl was mean to me, it didn't undo all of the quote-unquote goodwill, shall we say, all of the other black women I've experienced in my life have done. But even if I didn't have black friends, I'm a black woman. I'm not a bad vibe. Maybe I was, who knows?
No. I knew you then.
And I was.
No, actually.
And you deserved it.
No, we didn't know or like each other.
We were not friends at school.
But then we did.
We were enemies.
Yeah.
She didn't know it, but I didn't like her.
I didn't know enemies. I think enemies are strong.
No, we weren't enemies. Yeah. I did not like her though.
Yeah, we just.
But again, I didn't like her not because she'd done anything. I just didn't know her. And when I was a kid, if I didn't know you, I would just automatically assume I didn't like you.
But then we became friends.
Friends, and really begrudgingly. I cannot explain how much I was like, why is she always here? What is the deal? And also, so yeah, I think I really just said to Shoshana one time, I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal? Why are you here? Are we friends now? How's this going to work? Like, we've been sitting together for lunch for the past 5 years. I don't really know anything about you.
It was crazy, actually. I don't know, how did that happen?
I don't really know.
Yeah, because I feel like I knew at least everyone else, and I had like one-to-one conversations with every other person.
Yeah, and we just didn't.
And then bar you. And I was like, why? I don't get it.
And there was only 4 of us in our form. So there must have been a time where it was just you and I, and we would, I guess, both just reading a book and not speaking to each other.
Yeah, we knew what we came together because we were forced to go to the same school.
Yeah.
Same sixth form.
Yeah. And then I was like, she's kind of weird and funny, I guess.
I mean, it takes some time, but yeah.
I guess. But like... I know I'm a walls up kind of person, so I guess that's the difference between me and Christabel. Was like you got with me over.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, so I think because I already had a community, I took every interaction I had with a girl as an interaction with that girl, rather than that girl's a representation of a community. If I didn't have a community, maybe I would feel differently. But actually, even if I'm saying that, maybe I'm just I don't want to say well adjusted. I don't know what the right, well integrated.
Yeah.
Because if I had a negative experience with a white girl, I wasn't going, all white people suck.
That's the thing. Is the
stereotype. Or I'm not going to ever speak to another white person because I feel like they don't like me. Like, I really took everyone at face value. Like, if you suck, it's a you thing.
Yeah.
But again, when I was a kid, I lived on my estate. My estate again was 50%. Was probably actually more. When I was growing up, my estate was probably 67% white and 30% black.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it became more and more black as time went on. But when my nan first moved to the building that we grew up in, she was the only black person on our floor.
Oh, wow.
So I grew up with white neighbours. I grew up in primary schools that were predominantly white, probably. So I had white friends. I had white enemies. I have black friends, I have black enemies. I never really thought of anyone being the representative for that group and therefore barring me from that group. It's interesting to me that those negative interactions with other black women made me more so think about, like, from an emotional standpoint, what's going on with her. Like, why does she feel like that? Why do we feel like, because I feel like there's more going on here than just, you don't like me. Like, maybe there's stuff that I'm doing that is triggering. I don't know what it is. There's something else going on here. It can't just be me because I'm a hella chill person. And so that maybe that helped me put some distance between you are telling me that I can't be black. Even though sometimes some of the things that people were saying to me was stuff like, oh, you're coconut, you want to be white, X, Y, and Z, all of that stuff. Yeah, those things did used to hurt me as a kid, I'm not going to lie, because, like, who wants to be told that they're not black enough? Yeah. But, like, I still went to sleep black and I still woke up black the next day. Like, it didn't change anything about me.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff with Christabel, just from her conversation, if you drill it down, is about stereotypes and just gross generalizations of what she believed black people are or what they should be and what black friendships look like. And I think at the beginning when she started speaking, or when she gave, there was pockets of when she talked about, you know, the environment she grew up in, that, you know, perhaps there's spaces that she would not have met a lot of black people growing up, like at school, or like the area you live in, or even having communities like church. I get it. It can happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will block you from making black friends when you do have the opportunity to do it. And I think when she was talking about the whole idea of, like, okay, look, there was a black girl or a mixed race girl who's bullying me, and that, like, almost a trigger to her having probably a stereotype of other black women. That's probably what blocked her blessing.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about, oh, I was friends with this mixed race girl, but then she ended up choosing this white girl over me. Or I was friends with this person, they chose this white person over me. That there, a sense of, like, in all of her black friendships, to a certain point, because obviously she says from 26 onward feels different. Yeah. But to a certain point, all of her relationships with black people was about centering whiteness.
Yeah. And I think that's probably something that she's
even that would happen when you have white friends as well. Exactly.
Yeah. She had to unlearn, well, she said that she was unlearning that, because, perfectly honest, that mentality and stroking everyone with the same brush probably could have prevented her from making black friends if she had the opportunity to. I think some of the discourse, and I haven't read a lot of the comments, but some of the discourse about just what it means to be black and then being ostracized if you don't have the conventional or the stereotypical aesthetic or behavior of being black, also can sometimes deter people from making friendships with black people. So, like, oh, if you don't like grime, if you don't like bashment, if you don't like this, if you don't have your hair stick down, if you don't, like, all those type of things, or if you like, I don't know, rock and white people's music, that means, like, the point you mentioned, oh, you're known as an Oreo or coconut, like, those type of things ostracize people. And I'm very fortunate, similar to Mani. Yeah, we went to a school that was 50% black and 50% white. I went to a primary school that was predominantly black. I went to church that was predominantly black. So I was in predominant black spaces through the very, what's it called?
Formative
years of my life. And what it allows you to do is to be able to understand there are different types of black people.
100%.
Like, even, there was one time my sister was like, oh, you ain't black to me. And I said, but I've been black longer than you have.
Damn.
I.e., she's my younger sister. And I have been black longer than she has.
That's a bar.
It is, because it's true. But it's because I don't have the conventional look. And even when I went to my church, actually, one of the churches growing up, I will say that I would probably describe myself as being a little bit ostracized because I didn't have the typical quote-unquote way of speaking. With the way I spoke was slightly different. People point that out, like, oh, you sound really posh. Like, I'm just speaking English like you. It doesn't make me any different or any better or any less than who you are. And I think when you, whatever environment you're in, especially if you are in predominantly black spaces, and if you have that opportunity to, it allows you to be able to make those distinctions. Even if you don't, I think that there's still a space where you can understand that just because one person treats you mean in a specific way doesn't mean everyone is. Because if that was the case, you have no friends.
Yeah.
And I think that was some of the things we end up listening to the whole video, and I think you asked it, was like, does she even have any close friends? And towards the end of the video, she kind of touched upon it, or insinuated that maybe she doesn't have like a very close circle of friends. And look, that happens. We're in a loneliness crisis, unfortunately, and it's difficult to make friends. Like I can imagine. I'm fortunate the friendships and the family I have today is the ones I've had most of my life, and I've not probably made brand new friends like over the last 5 years. It's only through workspaces that's really changed things, and some of those workspaces are predominantly white. Is it, if a white person does something mean to me, does that mean that I can't be friends with them? No, but I just feel like you wish, to your point, there was more nuance. But I do love Christabel, and I like some of the content, but I do think sometimes, like, I have followed her for some time, but I do notice, especially around this topic and also some of the other topics that followed it, is like she is trying to create discourse about the woe is me of being black, which is that doing anything for the culture? Is that moving us forward? Yes, you're highlighting things that maybe people have experienced, but I just wish there was more of a positive spin on it, and maybe it's just me being optimistic, but I wish there was some optimism around it. I wish there was some agency of like, what does she do
yeah.
Because I think I would have sympathized for her more. Of like, look, I went to this place, I tried to make friends, just wasn't like, I just wasn't able to connect. I'd be like, okay, look, you tried.
But see, I think the reason why that can't be part of the story is because if she tried, she would have black friends. Like, I think the part that is missing from this conversation, even about the like, not looking conventionally like other people, or not liking the same things that everybody else likes. Conformity is part of any friendship.
Yeah.
So even if you're saying you struggle to make black friends, theoretically you're going to struggle to make white friends as well. True. If you don't conform with them. Like, if you love bashment and none of the white people in your world like that and want to hear it, you're not going to have no white friends, right? Yeah. That's basically the logic that you're saying applies to black people. Black people only want to be friends with people that like the same things as them, which is actually not true. No. I have, over the course of my life, yes, I have my friends who are my core friends from when I was at school, but every friend I've made since I left school couldn't be more not like me, right? Yeah. I think the things that have bonded us to each other sometimes is literal trauma of what we've experienced together. But sometimes it's like, okay, we have completely different lives, we've had completely different upbringings, but we both love just music in general. We like art, we like film, we like things. We like to do things together. So if you go, I want to go to cinema today and I have no one else to go with, do you want to come? I'm probably going to say yeah, because I like going to cinema. I like to do things. And in doing that, we're going to have conversations. We're going to learn about each other. And your core values, which are universal, by the way, you don't have to be black or white to like care about your family, to want to do good in the world, to be ambitious, to have I don't know, to want to travel and see the world. Those things are not specific to your race. So all she's telling me is, I'm trying to connect with people on a surface level, struggling, and then going, and that's why I don't have no black friends. Yeah. When in reality, I'm telling you, I met somebody through work in my 20s, and we literally could not be more different. Like, she's incredibly extroverted, I'm much more introverted. She's very bubbly, she's very like spontaneous. I need a plan, I need a plan constantly. Like, I don't like surprises. We I think are like chalk and cheese, but I found her to be a genuine person. I found her to be quite effervescent, even in like, okay, you do a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't do, but I love that for you actually. And she never made me feel like, oh, you never do shit, you don't want to go outside and live your life. She took me as I was, I took her as she was, and that really has bonded us. And we are still friends to this day, and we are very different people, and we're actually very different black girls as well. Like, we don't have the same black experiences. Like, she probably in a similar way to Christabel, grew up in a predominantly white area and had a predominantly white friendship group. I had the opposite. I come from a big family of people that were not born in this country as well. Her parents are like second, third gen.
Okay.
My parents.
I do know this friend, so I'm surprised. I'm like learning things about her too.
My parents literally immigrated to this country and had me. Like, I'm like, we couldn't be more different, and yet here we are as two black women, as two women, really. As two just beings on this planet connecting on the basis that, like, you're kind of funny. You're actually kind of funny. And you think I'm kind of funny. And I think you're kind and I think you're sweet. And you think I'm kind and you think I'm caring. And that's the friendship. What does our race have to do with it?
Honestly, and that's something that I'm so grateful. I'm even grateful for the school that we went to, because that is what I have been able to learn over the years. Is like, yes, we're just women. We have different tastes. We have different things. Okay, our skin colour is similar. And yes, maybe there's some things that we can relate to, but if we look at our friendship group, which are people of colour, women of colour, there are things that we all relate to. How we grew up, the way I remember, that was a conversation we had, and it must have been at school, and we were all talking about the way we were disciplined, and every single one of us had very similar stories, and I was like, really? Like our Asian friends saying, yeah, this is what happened to me, and it's like there's so many similarities. So take away the race aspect. I'm not trying to say, because it's going to get close to like, I don't see colour. I see colour. No, I do. Colour is there and race is important because it adds a flavour to each one of our lives. But I'm just trying to say, when it comes to friendship, let that not block you from your blessing.
Yeah.
And I think I was listening to the Receipts podcast and them talking about, they talked about, Christabel's video, and they only touched on it a little bit. I think Christabel responded and probably overreacted.
Her response was she was, for a person who I think does a point of presenting really neutral, if not like welcoming and friendly. It was like watching someone trying really hard to stay smiley and passive, even though they really want to be like, fuck them hoes.
Yeah.
They call me. I was like, this is so weird, because I think you're upset.
Yeah, just say.
But I couldn't tell from your face or the tone of your voice that you're upset. Apart from you basically saying that they dragged you on their podcast when they didn't drag you.
Because I listened to that whole pod. The way I had to like find the episode and be like, and I listened to it. And I was like, when they drag you, they spoke about your video. One of them hadn't even fully finished watching it. The other one had, and they were just like almost relating to, like, they kind of understood it, but they also kind of touched on the point you made about, like, if you're trying to give a negative experience that you've had with one black woman and then brush that stroke with everyone else, and I don't think that made sense, but basically trying to generalize all of the women, that's the mistake, and that is problematic. But apart from that, they actually end up touching on your topic and then talking about when they actually found their black friendship groups, because they had actually very similar backgrounds to Christabel, where they were in predominantly white spaces, in like Barkhead and like other like east and north of London, and so they weren't in those environments, and it wasn't until they were like in their university age that they finally like found a friendship group of black women that they were able to kind of like really kind of grow with. And they just talked about the beauty of black friendships, which, the way they ended it, I was like, that's actually very nice. But actually, the Christabel part was only a seed to really jump on, like, the importance of those type of friendships. Yeah. But, I don't think it was, to me, it wasn't a big deal. So I if anything, you could have just thanked them and said, yeah, like she probably said, I would love to be in the podcast to talk more about it.
No, she said you should have had me on the podcast. She didn't say I would love to. She said you should have had me on the podcast to talk about it. It was, honestly found it to be just entitled. A very, entitled is the right word. Obviously, there were people in the comments saying, first of all, this cannot be the only time anyone's talked about this on a podcast because it's been a viral topic. Yeah. So it's quite interesting that the people you've decided to respond to are the podcast hosted by two black women, and then your response to it is, you two black women were unpleasant to me. And then everybody is saying that they weren't actually unpleasant to you. And this is exactly the kind of thing that's like, you're 37 years old, you're not a child. You understand the visuals and the politics of you going onto your platform and saying, and there are two black women being mean about me right now, and then you're trying to convince us guys that the story that you're telling about why you've struggled to make black friends is universal and not specific to you just maybe being a bit of a prick. I don't think she's I don't know her. Yeah. But what I will say is she never, to the point that you literally just made, there is such a beauty in black friendships, right? I'm also agree with you, that's not something that should be taken for granted. Because we are black, we can sit down and have conversations and be cheeky and be silly in a way that I probably would not be able to with someone who didn't share that specific unique experience with me. Like, we were just earlier talking about the Bête Noire episode of Black Mirror, and how we both, without even speaking to each other, said it was so triggering because it is quite literally the experience of being a black woman in a workplace. And
100%.
I could say to someone else, oh, have you watched the Bête Noire episode, who isn't a black woman, and they would have had a completely different experience of that. And it is nice to know that I will always be, okay, not always, sometimes I'm sure my takes are like wildly different to yours, but most of the time I will be validated in my perception of the world that happens to be specific to my being a black woman, right? And I don't take that for granted as a person who works in a predominantly white space and spends time talking to white people all day, and then speaks to their black friends like, hold on a second, these people really had me thinking I was crazy when I said this at work.
Fam.
But now you're saying it, and I'm like, yes, exactly, that's what I meant. And you need that sometimes to ground you, because if you spend, no offense to anybody, again, to the whites, we love you, but if you are a person of colour and you spend too much time with white people, honey, you're going to end up in a mental asylum.
I didn't know that was where it was going to go. I mean,
your brain is going to get warped.
I think it definitely alters your brain chemistry in
it
some
does.
way.
You are going to end up in an asylum. Yeah. And I'm saying that as a person who went to a university where I had 0 black friends. Bear in mind, I had black friends outside of this university, but the 3 years I was at university, my close circle was white people. And I'm not talking about my very close friend, because she was an angel, but to go from the safety of her, because she was my close friend, I felt safe with her, to go into the wider circle of our group of friends, and then the wider circle of the university as a whole, and everyone's white, and doing wild shit to you, but you have no one to say, hey, that was crazy, right? Because everyone's like, well, that
was fine.
I don't think there was anything weird about that. And you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't. It's like being in a horror movie. And that's why I say you do that for more than 3 years. Like, I did that for 3 years and I had a panic disorder. If you do that for more than 3 years, I'm telling you, honestly, you are having a psychotic break at 30 and you are killing a dog or something. Like, you're doing something weird as hell. It is not healthy. And I know there's going to be white people out there who be like, but I'm a chill one. Like, I get it. I understand racism. You never will.
No,
you actually never will.
I only realised I was black when I went to university.
Same.
Not even, no, and of course I know I'm black. Let's be for real.
But black.
But black.
With a capital B.
I didn't realise I was until I went outside of London. Like, we
set foot outside of London and you will be gagged.
The way, because of course we went out of London every now and again. But like,
when you live
there, different. It's a different environment. When someone comes up to you and says you're the first black person I've ever met in my life, what am I supposed to say to that? Because I can't even respond like, oh, you're the first white person. No.
If this was The Office, I'd be looking directly at the camera.
Like, directly. Me, like, I swear, I think when that happened, I think my eye diverted somewhere. I was like, but there must be someone who heard this.
Where is the hidden cameras? Because this is a prank.
It must be a joke. I was like,
am I on pod? I'm basically a black woman inside. Because I'm sassy and I'm gay. And I said...
Oh my God. I'm not being told that. Oh. We should have an episode of just
the shit that you just be standing there being like... And by the way, you're 18.
I know.
Like, you're a toddler, basically. You're a toddler having other toddlers come up to you and be like, can I just say something? Obviously, I was a bit scared when I first saw you. But now that I'm talking to you, you're hella chill. And then you're walking home being like, why was he scared? Why was he scared? And then literally 3 a.m. in the morning, you're like, 'cause I'm black? what the fuck? Like,
Oh my God.
it doesn't even dawn on you
No,
because
honestly.
of how we grew up. When I tell you, I don't think before I went to uni, the most racist thing that ever happened to me was this random kid at school called me a monkey.
Oh my God.
And then my mum came to the school and said to him, "Why don't you come and say it to me? Why don't you say to me what you said to her? Because I didn't say anything."
You know I love
Mum
you.
said, "Just say it." No, because you said it earlier, so say it
Yeah.
now. So you know you're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Got his ass. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the most racist thing that
Yeah.
happened to me. And even that, I think my mum had to explain to me that I shouldn't let
Yeah. So,
white
yeah.
people call me that. Because I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I had said to her, this is what happened. Not even thinking that it was racist, right? That was the most racist thing that happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've been called the N-word while on the bus because I was standing by the exit.
Yeah.
And a white guy was trying to
How
get
old were
through.
you?
It was in secondary school.
Really?
I was on the bus. Yeah. 'Cause we were on the bus. You know, those
Yes.
our key bosses. There was always packed down that road.
Yeah.
Near your place. Yeah. Yeah. That's the most racist thing. And he was saying the N-word as he was jumping out the bus.
Yeah, exactly, because you're scared, because you knew you were going to get punched if you said that on the bus.
Respond.
Yeah.
I can't even respond because that's the most racist thing.
So to go from that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then one time, actually, one thing did happen at school. We used to give tours of the school in September for the year sixes, right?
Yeah.
To come look around school. I did a tour. We were in upper school for some reason. They come to upper school to do a tour of upper school. At the end, one of the parents came up to me and was like, "I just want to say, your English is so good." I said,
Oh my gosh.
"Yeah?
Oh my gosh.
Why wouldn't it be?" Again, I walked from that woman
Yeah.
to the hall, and it wasn't until I got into the hall, it's like, "'Cause I'm black?"
I
Why
feel like
would you
that's-
say that to
That
me?
feels like an SNL skit.
I thought
skit.
she.
It's not skit, but skit.
I was really thinking, like, on the way, she's like, "Is she saying that because I'm from South London?
No,
Is she saying that because I'm?
Oh god.
Because do I have a speech impediment? Like, what did she mean? My English is so good. Oh, because I'm black.
Yeah. Honestly.
Oh, because I'm black.
Wow.
Well, guess what? When you send your daughter here, there's gonna be
Bare
of people like me.
You are speaking very great English.
Very, very good English. The
I
best
think
English.
not
you
very
could have.
great English.
Bare English. We're speaking bare English. Here. Wait till your kid gets here, babe.
And the irony is that a lot of those white girls tried so hard to be stereotypically black, and the black girls weren't.
What are you gonna do?
So when your kid comes with gel curls, ringlets in her
when
hair,
your kid has gone to school, you put her hair down. She's come back with cane rose.
tell me that she speaks such good English.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
You sent her to the school where they speak good English.
Fam. But yeah.
So to go from that to at uni on a near monthly basis,
Yeah.
like trying to wait, like
Navigate
your
that.
brain is just not
Yeah.
even capable. You start to think it's you.
Yeah.
I'm seeing racism where there isn't racism.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't racist. Maybe they were being You didn't say that to anybody else in the room though,
Yeah.
and the only black person in the room is me. So chances are you said that to me because.
Do you know what's also quite scary? Because your uni wasn't like that far out of London. That's
Not far from London
Not
at
at all. And I was like, and I was in the north of England. Like I was.
But I feel like what happened
Yeah.
is all of those northern kids chose
yeah.
southern universities, and all
Yeah.
the southern universities.
Went up,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna go to a university in the north, didn't. Ended up going to one in the south,
Yeah.
and then you're just suddenly surrounded by people who have never seen black people
Yeah,
before,
which is crazy.
who are like, "Whoa, tell me what it's like to be from London." Like they shooting everyone up or what? Like
Flipping heck.
I remember people making such a big deal about like, "Oh, you're from where are you from? Where are you from?" And I was like, "South London." Like, "Oh yeah, like Brixton." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I am."
Yeah.
That is actually exactly where I'm from. So be careful.
Yeah.
Might shoot the club up.
Fam, I really wish like I would really leaned into that more, because when I used to tell people where I was from growing up, like, "Oh my gosh, you worried about getting stabbed?" Now everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so cool. I went for drinks." I was like,
Literally,
it hurts my soul.
it's
it
clown
does.
behaviour.
It's such clown behavior, and it's like I don't live there anymore now. It's still got my heart,
Always will.
always.
Always will.
But
Peck nom.
But yeah, for real, bang bang. But
Big
next
peck
to
nom.
but it still hurts with that nonsense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think to wrap the
Yeah,
the
this-
Christabel stuff up, I think that there is something always icky to me about a person making their brand online being about being black or being black, but like, and how, like you said, how that has been negatively affected them.
Yeah.
I think that's weird.
Yeah,
I think that's a
yeah.
weird thing.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing unique about being black. There's bare of us.
Honestly.
Go on TikTok, you're going to see a lot of very cool black people. So you're choosing to be like, and my thing is to talk about all of the shortcomings that come with being a black person sometimes. And it's like, I really want to relate to you, sister.
Yeah.
I think there's lots of other things that are relatable. Being single, being this, being that. Like, can we chill on the whole? And I get it. Sometimes there is an intersection with those things. Like, you can't speak about being single without speaking about the fact that you're black, without speaking about the fact that you're a certain age. Like, those things do influence why you're single. But, like, isn't a part of why you're single probably to do with the fact that you clearly have some internalized issues with black?
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I still will follow Christabel, but the content that she's currently pumping, to your point, it's feeling very much like I found my niche that's made me viral, and I'm going to keep on hammering this type of content. And that anytime I've seen her content recently, and it's part of like, this is the reason why this has happened to me, I'm like, scroll up.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I know
she's just trying to pay her bills.
Honestly, yeah, because she's a full-time influencer. I get it. And there's a part of the internet and there's a part of society that very much relates to Christabel. Because there's a lot of people in the comments, as much as they were dragging her, there's some people that were supporting her. I get it. But for me, that type of rhetoric, I keep on questioning, who's that audience for? Is that for white people or for us?
Yes.
Because it's not
I think it's for white people. And that's why I think it's dangerous.
That's the thing. Because I could only relate to you to some points. I get the whole, like, being in spaces, like, predominantly non-black spaces, and how that does impact your friendships. I get that, but the whole woe is me, and after that I was like, you lost me there completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I can say, because I don't want to drag her further, because the other key thing is, girl, you need to either wash your brushes, get new brushes. You've got a really great base. You've got great skin and beautiful face.
Yeah, she does have lovely skin.
You do not need to pound your face with so much.
Beats. Face beat, literally.
Like, you don't need to. Like, that was the first thing I noticed, bar the story.
It's quite distracting, actually.
It is. But the thing is, people have mentioned that, and then she's still like, psh, psh, psh.
She doesn't see, and this is the problem. That's why they have no black friends, because they're trying to help you, so you don't want to hear it.
Honestly, and also a little goes a long way. You don't need that much makeup. You've got great skin.
She doesn't even have that much makeup on. The problem is that she's scraping that bare brush around her face. There's not that much product. I actually like the amount of blush that she has on. I think people should wear more blush all the time.
I think I saw with my sister like one time. If it's any makeup product, like you can only have one makeup product in your bag, or only two. Which ones would you have? And I think I said either eyebrow pencil and blush, or actually maybe I take three: eyebrow pencil, concealer, and blush, because I love blush. I feel like it roses up my face, if that's a thing, and I need eyebrows because you look right up at my eyebrows. They're barely there.
I don't think I've ever noticed that you don't have eyebrows though. Because I feel like I don't really have eyebrows.
You do, I can see them.
I know, but I can see your eyebrows.
Oh, can you? Okay, I always thought they were like quite faint.
They're light, but I wouldn't be like... Like, you know, when you've seen like people in the filter where they have no eyebrows, and you're like, oh.
But but then you look at Whoopi Goldberg. No one knew that she didn't have eyebrows, and she said, "Yeah, I shaved up my eyebrows."
We're like, what? Some people look the same with their eyebrows.
Yeah, like I think her bone structure around her eyebrows.
There is a bit of a shadow.
Yeah, there is. So it really looks like, because I was watching like Sister for the first, like, no, not for the first time, for the upteenth time, and I looked at her eyebrows. I was like, crap.
Sister.
No, Sister Act.
For a second, I was like, sister.
When was she a sister? No, Sister Act.
Sister.
And it was the first time I watched it looking at her eyebrows, and I was like, crap, she hasn't got eyebrows. But you never know. But yeah, and again, I don't want to talk about makeup any further, but yeah, I think it was an interesting conversation, but please do not make this your brand. It's not gonna work for you, because I mentioned Ostepco, who is American. I don't think she does exactly the same content, but I think she has very similar like aura to Christabel. she got really viral after the whole pretty privilege conversations, and she got almost dragged for it. And she had, over the last year or so, she has had to backtrack and recraft her identity outside of it, because it just took on its, a field of its own, or whatever you call it. So if I was advising Christabel, I would be like, girl, please find other niches, because you're more than just woe is me being black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't know.
Yeah.
I understand the internet, content mill, blah, blah, all that stuff, but you gotta be careful.
Honestly.
Should we get on to pop culture news?
Let's do it. Okay, so we have had the Met Gala.
Met Gala.
And the theme for this year was...
The Black Dandy.
The Black Dandy, super fine, tailoring black style. And when this theme was announced, I was like, this could go either way. Or two ways. Firstly, the black people are going to kill it, which they did. And two, the white people are... There's going to be controversy, because there is going to be someone who is not black who is going to try so hard and make such an epic fashion fail.
Who do you think that was?
I don't think anyone did anything like that, but I do think the people that played it safe actually was more offensive than anything else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people went, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm just going to be as neutral. I'm going to wear a little dress.
Yeah. Nothing to do with the theme. Who were your best dressed and worst dressed? Or what was your overall theme of...
Jodie Turner-Smith is maybe the most beautiful person on the planet. She's stunning. That red looked great on her. Yeah. I'm gonna pull a Love Is Blind and say, I think I look like Jodie Turner-Smith.
I don't think you're... Wait.
I think...
Sorry, I only just got... I was like, what do you mean by Love Is Blind? I was like, oh yeah.
That's exactly what I look like.
What is it because you got dark hair and dark eyes?
I think, I look like Jodie Turner-Smith because she's black.
Yeah.
No, I actually think face, like, she's got, like, this probably the same shape face as me.
I don't think you're far off, yeah.
Oh my god, sister, stop!
I don't think you're far off at all.
Stop!
No!
Sissy!
Yeah.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
And I also think she's maybe a little bit darker than me.
Yes. Oh, her skin is...
Yeah, I mean, it's actually
glorious.
Very
annoying. So I mean, like,
she's actually so gorgeous.
Yeah, the skin tone is like...
I understand how people are, like...
Leather.
Throwing up when they see her. Like, the energy that people have for Zendaya is what they should have for Jodie Turner-Smith. I mean, she is absolutely frigging gorgina.
I want to find out her origin. Not so like
she's a Brit. That's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, she was born. She's Jamaican.
Come on now.
Yeah, parents were
Island gal.
Peterborough, actually, not necessarily island.
Sorry. The UK is an island. We've discussed this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
We are all island gal.
Yeah, but I don't feel like my island spirit when I'm in England.
When the sun is shining, tell me not feeling up island.
I've had this conversation with, I think, my sister. Like, when the sun is shining, best believe England is an amazing place to be when it's sunny. But I don't feel the same way I do when I'm out in the country on holiday.
It's not the same as being on holiday, but when the sun shines, I just feel my hand reaching down and a Ghana flag. Bring on carnival! It's time for me to dance. That's what I feel.
I mean, I definitely feel happier, but I don't like. There's a joy that I feel in London when it's sunny, but there's an exponential joy I feel like.
No, because Brit summers are very specific.
Yeah,
we have a routine here. So Shoshana doesn't know this, but Shoshana does know this, but my dad was here recently, and we went I took him on a walk along South Bank, and I took him to that pub that we went to. That time we had our little pub crawl.
Oh my gosh, yeah!
And I was I actually think this pub is maybe, like, I don't have a local, I don't have a favourite, but this place is actually really quite special to me. Like, when it's sunny, being here, honestly, you feel like, I've made it. Yeah. And as soon as we walked up there, this was 20 degrees, the weather was 20, so not even hot. Yeah. Packed out.
Of course.
And
shorts as well.
It's because he lives in America, has lived in America for the past 30 plus years. He was like, oh, you guys really outside drinking? And I was like, that is British culture. Like, the minute the sun is out, it doesn't even have to be hot. Yeah. You are in the pub. Yeah. You have to go for drinks. Like, that's what we do. Or you're in the park having a drink. Like,
honestly,
or you're having a barbecue where there's drinks. Like, this is what we do.
There's so much scarcity of sun. Like, even a slither, we must enjoy.
Shirts have to be off.
Honestly, well, I mean,
for the dudes.
For dudes, I mean, and the girlies want to, but you know.
Shirts off.
Shorts out.
Pims.
Yeah.
Tinnies.
That's one thing I'm gonna miss. Pims.
Looking up, lying in the sun.
Do you think they have non-alcoholic Pims?
Yeah, they probably do.
Oh, really? Okay.
They have non-alcoholic everything now.
Yeah, because Pims in the sun.
Come on now.
Fam, that's what the Mediterranean Aperol spritz is. That's our equivalent.
Yes,
Pims,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. It's Pims o'clock. Everyone, we're getting outside.
Yeah.
We're buying a bunch of fruit. We're putting it in a jug that we found, and we're gonna make ourselves Pim. And that is what the sun does to you in the UK. You go anywhere else, you will conform to whatever their sun culture is, and their sun culture tends to be different because they have more sun than. They're not like, everyone stop what you're doing, finish work at 4 p.m. so you can go to the pub. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But back to the Met.
Yeah.
I think she looked great.
Yeah, she did.
I liked Common Domingo's pattern jacket and the pussy bow blouse.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Again, I think sometimes I look at stuff and I'm like, would I wear that? And it's like, yes, I actually would wear this outfit down. So I like it. Was it like show stopping? No, but was it black dandy? Yes.
Yes, on that point, I definitely agree. I think when the theme came out, I was like, this is the best theme for Common Domingo because fam does dandy on every red carpet in some capacity. So I think I was expecting the show, and I know he did the cape kind of in honor of Andre Leontelli.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, man,
he would have ate the song.
Oh my gosh! Imagine, honestly,
he would have ate the song.
This even though America's Next Top Model was problematic, like it was part of our pop culture. I think that's how I was introduced to him. But yeah, I think the suit looked cute. But yeah,
I thought his partner looked gorgeous as well.
Yeah,
he looked great.
Rain.
That outfit ate.
Yeah,
I think. Law with the blonde hair.
I don't know if I'm feeling it, but what do you think? I wasn't really feeling it, but
he's actually undone. It's like when they cut off Rapunzel's hair.
Oh yeah, because he has
No, you have to have that 40 inch bust down all the time. What the hell are you talking about? Because you said it wasn't a wig. So where's it gone? Because the blonde hair was a wig. You could see the lace.
So maybe, but some of the girls are able to hide.
No, listen. It's obviously the bust down is a wig, but what I'm saying is he has made law that it's not a wig. He'll be like, "This is my real hair." I don't know what you're talking about. Lace wear.
Oh,
so then to see him in the blonde and the blonde being so obviously a wig, I was like, "LOL." Imagine if he's braided his bust down underneath.
I thought he braided the bust.
You thought he braided the bust down?
I didn't know it was a wig. I actually thought he cut his hair. But if it was a wig, I thought it would be a braided bust down.
The lace.
I wasn't even.
It was definitely lace.
I wasn't looking.
When they said lace, where there, lace there. It was that.
I wasn't looking like massively close.
It was in the there's that viral clip going around of him.
Oh, when he sees it. Oh yeah.
That's when I was like, ooh, the lace is lacing.
Oh, I think let me watch that video again.
I don't have a problem with lace. People will be like, oh, I can see your lace. Lace wasn't lifting.
That's true.
But this is the problem with wigs. The lace is there. We know that there's lace because it's a wig. You can never hide that.
The only person that's ever been able to fool me was Beyonce. Beyonce's by far the person that I, for so long, I thought that was her real hair.
Maybe she's wearing a half wig.
She probably is because, there's no way. The way that her hair, the fun is going and nothing's ever been lifted off. What?
Got to be.
It's not even yeah, maybe it is a half wig because there's no way. It has to be sewn on as well.
I thought Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats looked good. I liked the little matching. I liked it and it felt like urban and big. You know, it wasn't just I'm gonna wear a suit, you're gonna wear a suit. I liked someone else. I wasn't gagged by Zendaya's outfit.
Neither was I.
I actually thought it was quite dull.
Yeah, I was surprised. Again, though, I think there were some people that I expected, given the theme, they're just going to come and just knock it out of the park. And maybe I was expecting more dramatic. So one was Common Domingo, as I mentioned before. The other one was Zendaya because she always... like every Met Gala, she just brings it. So I expected more. Like I've seen her in suits, and I actually think that she's probably worn better suits.
Yeah.
It was tailored well, and it looked cute. But
She looked good
cute.
in it.
Yeah, I just felt like I thought it was gonna have something more. Like Lupita Nyong'o wore a blue suit that had a cape. Maybe it wasn't tailored the best way. I don't think it had like the fit in the way that.
And
I
also,
like,
isn't it reminiscent of that blue dress that she wore? That she
so
had the cape.
So I thought,
That's why it didn't surprise me as much because I'm
Yeah.
like, we've seen her in this
Isn't
exact colour, in this exact silhouette, but just in a suit version.
Yeah, and actually, was it the red? No, I think it was that Oscar one where she wore the red with that cape as well.
And she also wore a blue one. She always wore a pastel blue one. I
did.
have it like cemented in my head.
It's one of the, it was honestly that
because that colour looks so good on her.
So nice, yeah. So yeah, she was one. So Daya was the second person.
I think Diana Ross's. Sorry, I just remembered another person. I think Diana Ross's cape was.
It was gorgeous.
And it kind of reminded me. Oh, I liked Rihanna's outfit.
I really liked her outfit.
It reminded me of Rihanna's yellow cape.
Yeah. That again, Rihanna. Those are people that are like iconic. You expect a lot, and I think Rihanna did. I thought she did looked amazing. And congrats on the baby number 3. You guys are not getting the album. I'm so sorry. Sorry for that, man. You were not getting that album. Who else? I expected a lot from Doechii. It's
quite boring.
I was really underwhelmed by her thing.
I actually think her Tom Brown outfit. What people are saying is because she decided to go with Gucci rather than no, was it LV?
Louis Vuitton. I mean, she had it embossed on her face. Yeah.
With LV rather than Tom Brown, which is. But everyone was going to wear Tom Brown.
Yeah.
A lot of people were wearing Tom Brown, but you had that iconic Tom Brown look at the Grammys. Why would you suddenly switch to LV? To be dressed as a small boy.
Yeah, it wasn't given again what I expected. She even had an outfit during that weekend where she was wearing all brown with the yellow flowers, and she looks really good. Again, it's similar type of fit. So anyway, and then the fourth person I expected to bring it in a way, or I would have hoped to, was actually 2 more people. I thought Pharrell, given he was a co-chair, and also A$AP Rocky.
Well, Pharrell's jacket apparently was all pearls.
Yeah.
It didn't photograph very well.
No, it didn't, no.
And then A$AP Rocky, I was like, yes, okay, this looks kind of boring. And then it got to the, like, gun...
Oh, yeah, the thing.
Umbrella thing. And I said, this man just beat charges. And for him to turn up here with a gun-handled umbrella, he said, fuck you, justice system. I did that, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I actually said, this is maybe the edgiest, coolest thing a person's ever done.
I know, fam, I forgot that completely.
Yeah. It was not but a month ago.
Yeah, exactly. Beating the allegations. Literally.
The fact that they didn't even remove him as chair of the Met Gala when he had a federal criminal case against him is crazy.
No, I think had he got but still.
Yeah, because I would have been in prison anyway. But fucking coming out.
Help, sorry. I loved Tiana Taylor because I think it was extra.
Yes.
But I think you put the drama.
Janelle Monáe, obviously.
Yes.
But again, Janelle Monáe, if anybody remembers what she was doing when she first came out, when she was wearing those little black tuxedos, she was always going to eat this up.
Yeah.
Come on.
She did. And the reveal was like, there was drama. It was a great reveal. Like, I loved it. I also loved Damson Idris.
He looked great.
He looked so good.
He looked great.
Really
like
nice.
the entrance.
Entrance, the promotion, and then the suit looks really good as well. I liked Cardi B because of the colour.
I loved Cardi B. And I often do love Cardi B at the Met Gala. We've talked about this before.
She's so
I don't think she gets her flowers enough. She almost always eats at the Met Gala.
She looks really good. I love the colour in her. I love Thames. Again, Thames.
I didn't like that outfit.
You didn't? I liked it. I thought
it looked kind of dowdy.
But that's no doubt. So I thought you was a dandy.
Dowdy.
I'm about to say that. That's the thing.
It's like Burna Boy's outfit was giving uncle. Sometimes you have to really think about the whole collection.
True, I get it.
And be like, one piece, you add one more piece to this, and it's giving unk.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to take one thing away. Yeah. Like maybe the coat we should have lost, or the shoe. I don't know. It's giving uncle.
Yeah,
It's giving Congolese uncle.
But that's the whole like. It's
that's true.
And also, I think I was expecting quite a few more African prints on the red carpet, if I'll be honest. And I think that she lived up to the African. She infused a bit more.
No, she did. I just don't know if it was nice to look at. When you know there are African prints that are nice to look at.
Yeah,
it just gave a bit like.
I think maybe it was a different colour. I think it was a different colour. maybe that would have eaten.
Maybe.
I did love Lauryn Hill. I love the yellow on her.
Yeah, she looked good.
She did look nice. And there was this woman, I've been trying to find her name. She's a model. Her name is Ukbad. Wait, is that really? Let me double check. Because she wore this like silver suit with a cape, and I just like, wow, she just stands out so much. Ukbad Abdi. She's a model. It was just a drama of. I think she takes off the thing, and it's like, I think at the moment. It's
I do remember seeing that.
But it does. I just thought like the patterns. I love the patterns on the cape, the deconstruction, and it had the drama that I was really expecting.
Yeah, we also we talked about. Oh, we haven't. But Laura Harrier's outfit was really cute.
So beautiful. That's something that Zendaya could have worn, and
yes, absolutely. We were talking about LeBron James's wife.
Yeah, she was wearing like a burgundy suit with the panels. The only thing I didn't particularly like about those panels is like, I have this issue with Cher, just in general. Like sometimes the Cher color doesn't really match the skin tone as well.
But like if it's because really I don't think it's supposed to be a. I don't think those Cher panels are.
I
think they were red.
Oh, the panels, but they're in between the cutouts.
Yeah, I think they were red. I think it was red lace.
Okay.
That's where. Yeah, I think it's red lace.
Yeah. Who else?
Or red mesh. Yeah. Sorry.
The.
Yeah, we were just saying we were expecting the boys to show up and show out.
Honestly.
A bit more.
Yeah, because again, this is your year. Like this.
Oh, we talked about Joey King.
Joey King was incredible.
She was good.
She was so
I actually really liked Jenna Ortega's Ruler's dress.
Same. I liked it. I know it was like literal, but I really liked how it came across. Like it looks very nice. She could probably wear it to another. Actually, no.
Yeah, she could.
To another event.
My sister really liked Sabrina Carpenter's outfit.
I was really living for her commentary on IG. I really was. I was like giving her some handshakes and some emoticons.
Yes, I also engaged with her in her things as well. I was like, do you know what? Yeah. This one, okay. Yeah. Isn't that? She really liked. I think she looked good, Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything offensive.
No.
She didn't do anything show-stopping.
True.
I did ask my sister, what is the deal with her not being able to wear trousers? And then I saw her, she in an interview talked about how her stylist said that she shouldn't, like trousers would ruin it because she's so tiny.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I was like, well, she's never worn trousers ever in her life. How tiny? Also, how small is
like
she?
5'1" or 4'11". She's really
So she's a door.
What's it called? What's that girl's name? Our friend who Abbott Elementary.
Yes, Quinta.
Quinta did...
Our friend, you know, like we know the girl. That's crazy.
That's how I like to...
Our girl.
I'm talking about black friendships.
She's sister.
She's my black friend in my head. She did a SNL, or she did SNL, and she did a monologue about being short, and Sabrina Carpenter came on, and I think they're similar heights. I think she's about 4'11", 5'1". Yeah, so she's small. I understand the no trousers thing.
A skirt, they can't put her in a skirt.
True.
Just a bottom.
Yeah, when she first came out,
a short.
Yeah, they.
That was the shorts. That was the
shorts.
A leotard. I don't think I've ever not seen that woman in a leotard.
When she first came out, when she was first touring with Taylor Swift, she would wear like inny bitty skirts. Again, it has to be super short to keep her legs looking long. I mean,
but come on.
And then platform heels.
You're 4'11". I feel like sometimes the illusion you're asking for a lot. You're 4'11". I don't know how much do you want people to think that you're not 4'11".
I mean, she did call her up and short and sweet, so.
That's like me being like, okay, if I wear a really long skirt, people will think I'm not 5 foot. No, that's not gonna happen.
I think maybe
you're gonna walk past me and be like, oh my god, she's the smallest person I've ever seen.
That's true. I mean, that's probably what people say about Beyonce, because she's a lot shorter than people. Like, you know, when she's standing next to Blue, she looks tiny.
A lot of people are quite small.
Yeah, in person, yeah. I was saying, before we finish this, but who was your worst dressed?
I don't know.
I want to say Hailey Bieber.
Hailey Bieber, very boring.
Why come?
Yeah, but I feel like every year Hailey Bieber, Kylie and Kendall do nothing, give nothing, and yet here they are.
But Wisdom K, where are you?
Where is he?
Because he would have he would have ate, and even the outfit he wore last year could easily slot into this year. Anyway.
The Met Gala needs to open its, it needs to stop just being like the same people, because those people don't give, like, I think the Met Gala should be a lottery basis.
That's so interesting.
And you apply to come to the Met Gala, they give you a budget, and you have to go there and eat.
Fab. I mean, it's about raising money for charity, but...
Yeah, the more people look at the pictures of me, the more money can go to charity.
I do love that this year they raised the most money, 31 mil. So...
Well, it's nice to know that the rich are still rich.
Yeah,
the
but
rest of us are in a recession.
Actually, that's wild.
Isn't it?
It is, but I think...
And what's the charity?
It's actually the money going back to the Met, I think. To restore, like, keep... Actually, what the hell is it for
What
again?
even is the Met?
I know. I don't know. But also, I loved... When I heard about the record, it made me think about Black Panther, and when people were like, no one's going to come out and watch a black film. And I'm like, it's $1 billion movie.
Same with Sinners. Well, Sinners has done a really bad job. Sinners is not going to make its money back. And now it's re-releasing in the IMAX because it's made so much money. So, I don't know. Maybe we should keep our mouths shut sometimes and just let nature do what nature does.
Look at that.
You know?
So, it was a great theme. I think that it's like the styles were there, and I'm keen to see what the influences of this type of the tailoring black style, how that will kind of live out in fashion over the next year, because I think there must be influences, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Should we move on to Beyonce, because we just talked about her?
Yes.
So the Cowboy Carter tour has started now. And we have now been seeing videos of it. We have not got tickets like Renaissance.
We have not got tickets.
We have not bought a ticket. But we are being fed by all the videos that we're seeing on TikTok of the show. And I will be honest, night one when I saw it, I was like, I've saved some money.
Yeah, I saw it. I said,
no shades.
We're never going to get Renaissance back. Like, that moment has been and gone.
Even though there was a lot of Renaissance visuals
it's still
there.
not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same. That's all I kept thinking. Looking at it, I was like, this doesn't have the energy or the joie de vivre of a Renaissance.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. I actually feel like if I went to this, it would undo the spell that Renaissance has on me.
So interesting.
Like just even the mashups of like going from Cowboy Carter into Renaissance was just making me be like, oh no,
because they're two different albums.
They're different.
They're two different. They're two different genres. Like it's quite hard. And you mentioned, because we talked about it, like a lot of those songs have had to be sped up.
Yeah.
Because when we reviewed it, and we would encourage you to go back and listen to that. It wasn't even chaotic.
Raw.
It was a very raw live review of every song on Cowboy Carter. We struggled towards the end. We really did.
I feel like several of them were just like, here we go again.
It was the interludes, I'll be honest.
It
was the interludes, and then some of these like really slow songs, which they're beautiful ballads, but boy, were we not.
I want to hear that.
No, we were just getting to like, get us to the shake your ass music, and it just never came. Like, you had a couple, but like...
It's so interesting because I think, me and my sister often talk about how Beyonce is one of those artists that has like been able to transcend genre and also like grow with her audience. Like, she doesn't have to make Crazy in Love every single time she makes a song, right? We are with her for her ballads, her slow songs, her upbeat songs, her songs about her husband, her songs about her kids. Like, we're here for all of them. That being said, where's the shaking the ass music?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not, actually. I think Cowboy Carter really just has split the beehive. Like, there are the girlies that are so ride or die for her that they're like, you just don't get it. Like, Cowboy Carter is... I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to shake my ass. I want to live in utopia, and Cowboy Carter's not giving me utopia.
But I also keep on thinking, like, Beyonce is 43.
That's true.
I aged her a bit when we were chatting, but she's 43. Will she be shaking her ass music? Will she be shaking her ass to every album till Kingdom Come?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I want, because I'm still trying to shake my ass. When I'm done shaking my ass, she could be done shaking her ass, okay?
I do think maybe after Act 3, she probably will retire.
That's okay.
I think she probably will. Because it's like, there's nothing else.
It's okay. That's why she's got Blue on stage every week. In fact, she's not even going to retire. She's just going to not stop turning up.
Yeah. Blue will be there.
And then Blue will be there and people be like, this was good, I guess. Blue was here. I don't even notice that Beyonce weren't there.
Don't think that's...
Next thing you know, Ruby's the understudy to Blue. We're just coming in to see Beyonce. Beyonce, she's in the audience with you.
It's actually crazy.
Eating potato chips, watching the show.
I think it's wild. But that being said, like, Blue's confidence, from Renaissance to now is incredible. Like, she just looks so confident on stage. She's in, like, quite a lot of songs. Apart from, like, after every... Like, there's always a chunk in the song that she's there dancing, and then she walks off stage because that's when it starts to get real crunk, real twerky, and she's like, no, I can't get my 13-year-old child twerking on screen.
Silly. I just think it's silly.
Honestly.
I also thought, okay, you're going to come out for a couple of songs. It's the whole show.
She is, yeah. She's there for a long time.
What the hell?
Yeah. What the hell?
Literally.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk to someone else about this, and they were like, "Why is this a problem?" And I was like, "Maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just a hater." But like, I didn't pay to watch your 13-year-old daughter have a go at the dance. And yes, everyone's like, her confidence is great. I am happy for her. Her dancing is better. I'm happy for her. But do I have to, like, imagine if every time you came to my house to speak to me,
your daughter was there dancing.
My daughter was like, can I show you?
I mean, you know that I would eat that up. I'm like, yes, please.
Every time.
Yes.
You've come to tell me something serious that's happened in your life. Okay. And we have to pause.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
But Alana, yeah, put the song on. Okay. So you can wipe your tears. When she finishes, you can continue your story. 5, 6, 7, 8. You'd be like, listen, Money, I would like to spend some time with you without Alana getting on the stage.
I think that,
I'd be like, hello, London. You're doing great, sweetie.
Oh my
Remember,
God.
project.
Oh my God. I think, I get it. I understand. I also do think that Beyonce ain't moving like that, so she needs to have a child take on that mantle now.
Sure.
To a degree, not the way that Beyonce was moving in those days, but like to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about it. I'm gonna say, as a parent, which I'm not, I don't know how I feel about making your child engage in child labour. You know, I don't know how I feel about that. Sometimes let kids be kids. Like I said, I want Blue Ivy to gag us all and become a lawyer. That's what I want. Not every day because your mum was famous, you got famous. No. Yeah. Maybe you just want to become an accountant.
Yeah, I'm
maybe you want to be a gardener.
That would be... I mean, she could.
Why couldn't she?
She could 100% be a gardener. I know she'll probably be in the entertainment industry, but yeah, it would be interesting if she decides to do something completely
entertainment
different.
Lawyer.
That would be interesting. Like, Malia Obama, so the daughter... Malia. Oh, gosh. Yeah, is it Malia?
Yeah, it's Malia.
So Malia Obama, daughter of Michelle and Barack Obama.
Oh, I thought it would be a different Obama. I wasn't sure. Because there's so many Obamas. What do you mean? Michelle and Barack Obama. Just in case you've never heard of the Obamas? Yeah. Oh Michelle, have you heard of her? Barack, maybe?
An idiot. But yeah, she's a filmmaker, and she is. And she's been steadily been doing that. I mean, of course, nepotism has opened doors.
That girls.
She did, and she did a recent advert for Nike. She's done a film that's going in the Cannes, I think, or one of these film festivals. So she's just steadily been doing it, but she's behind the camera, and it's really interesting to see that she's taken that journey. She's not going into politics like her dad or her mum, and she's going into still in entertainment, it's still in a visible space, but not as visible. So that I would be keen to see where it goes. I feel like her son will be the one that's completely distant. He will either be lawyer or do something that's not even close to entertainment.
Why? Because he's a boy.
No, but I just think. I think that there's people who have been saying that he's just not interested. He doesn't care to be on stage.
Are they twins?
Yeah, the twins. He just does not care to be on stage. I feel like he would probably want to just be distant, or he's gonna be a very, very successful businessman like his dad. I just see that. Mm. But yeah, it's exciting to see them grow. I'm not it's hard because And I think that's
People are saying as well. Sorry, people are saying that Rumi is over it. Like the first night that Rumi came out, that girl was like, "What
Screaming.
the heck?
Yeah,
This is huge."
yeah.
We've got to night 4 now. She's just standing there. She's over it.
Yeah.
I said, "You know what? I'm Rumi.
Honestly,
Rumi is me, and I'm Rumi. I know I would be gagged the first time, second time maybe, third, fourth.
Why are you dragging me out to do this? And mind you, she doesn't have to do that for every show.
Why are you getting her out?
Yeah, that one is weird.
She's sick.
Yeah, because she's
It's night time. Doesn't she have to go to sleep?
Probably not.
I'm sorry to call child services.
I think maybe after the LA shows, they will change that segment. So she's still singing the song, but they'll have projections of the kids behind her.
But why don't they just have the projections anyway? What do we need to? I don't understand. Like it is like because she knows what her fans are like. Everyone's gonna be screaming, crying, throwing up. But I also feel like it doesn't improve. Like it's not like the quality of the song has changed for that moment. Like it's still gonna be people who like that song are gonna like that song.
True.
And people like me who are waiting to get to the fast stuff are gonna just be like, "Oh, Rumi's here."
Basically, when those songs are playing, you're gonna go and get a drink.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think
I'll be looking around at other people's cowboy outfits, being like, "That's cute. That's cute. I like that. That's cute."
Yeah, I don't know. I'm keen to see how the show evolves. I definitely think that Beyonce is more comfortable on stage because definitely night one I was like, she ain't moving. But the same breath, Renaissance, same thing. I was like, she looks a little stiff. Some people still suspect that she may have some knee injury problems, but look, she's moving, she's dancing. I am excited just to see Act 3. I'm jumping right over this whole phase and like get to Act 3. I want to see what it will be. I'm here for it if it's rock. Someone's on TikTok was talking about it potentially being rap and hip hop. I was like, I don't want that. I don't need to see Beyonce rapping.
I do.
She does it already.
Bow down, bitches.
Yeah, but she's done it throughout her whole career. We don't need to get rap.
And why can't we get
it's
your haters corny with that Illuminati mess? I want a whole album.
But isn't that on the run? Like she had the whole album with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I actually quite like that. Wait. No.
Is it the H
one? Shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. But yeah, she's done it already. For me, I don't need to.
Yeah, but she did it with Jay-Z. It's time for her to do it by herself.
Yeah, but you can throw a couple of them into the rock one.
I don't even. Cowboy Carter gagged the heck out of me, and I did not like the gag. No. So I'm actually not going to try and guess what it is. Whatever it is what it is.
I mean, it definitely was a massive 360 from Renaissance.
100%.
I still feel like if it was the other way
it was actually a hate crime.
Yeah, because but again, if it was the way that she had planned it to be, Cowboy Carter first.
Renaissance at the end.
Yeah, Renaissance should be at the end.
Renaissance should be at the end.
Actually, yeah, because it's a Renaissance.
Why are we doing Renaissance and Cowboy Carter then rock? I don't know, girl.
I don't know. We'll wait and see, but we've still got a lot of time because this tour is going to continue until.
There's been a lot of technical difficulties as well. Just like
the one with the moving robot arms, bro. That was.
I mean, it's seeming a bit of a shit show, but yeah, let's see how it progresses. I hope it doesn't end up killing her.
No.
Because if you've got robot arms swinging very close to her face.
Yeah, crazy.
Because the stage has not been marked and X, Y, and Z. Like, there's a guy who I saw a TikTok from, and he'd been to the night before, and he was going to the night afterwards as well, and he was giving basically a rundown of everything that was different. Like, the set list was different, this was different. They didn't mark the stage, and that's why Beyonce was like, this is great. If you could just document the whole thing for me, I'll just live for you.
Oh yeah, because Beyonce had many burner accounts, so she watches all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you mean she has many burner accounts?
Probably has one, but I'm sure she's on the internet constantly.
Do you think?
Yeah, I feel like she gets a lot of like the memes. She gets a lot of the stuff.
Because she did bring back She Ain't No Diva.
She Ain't No Diva. Yeah, she's bringing a lot of like little like hints from before, but yeah. I'll continue watching the videos if I see them. Like it's always fun to see Beyonce.
I have been scrolling past them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm waiting for something new to happen.
Yeah, but I also don't think the songs ain't gonna change.
Well, the set list is changing some nights. They're saying so. Maybe the songs might change.
It's true. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. So I did check Ticketmaster to see how much the tickets are now, just to see like are they cheaper? Like, cause if they're like under 50, I'll be like, yeah, sign me up.
Oh, so you would go
just for like. Yeah, she's here, and the tickets are cheap. I didn't have to spend £150 for them.
Nah, I'm not.
Like, even though it's not what I wouldn't. It doesn't give me the same joy as I did when I saw her when it was the Beyonce or the Formation album. I would be like, look, at least I was able to see cheap tickets for Beyonce.
Yeah.
Because it's not something out.
Yeah, well, I heard someone say that. He was like, listen, Beyonce's always a good show, so it does, like, if you can get cheap tickets, you might as well go. But I was like, I don't know, I just feel like my heart's not in it.
It's because it's the album. It's the song and it's the album. I'm looking forward to Act 3, and I'm just gonna, we just have to be patient, because that's probably gonna happen in 2 years.
Probably in a year. I think at this point we're speeding towards, like, you know how we felt like, oh, Renaissance has just come out and now Cowboy Carter's here, and it's like actually it had been like 2 years or 3 years. It just felt like no time had passed.
That's true.
I think the same thing's gonna happen with Cowboy Carter, because this came out last year.
Oh yeah, crap, it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So it's next year.
Yeah.
So actually, we won't have to wait too long, because So.
Yeah. Should we get to our review
of
the week?
Let's do it.
So this review is a special kind of review because, in a sense, we're talking about You. That's right, listener. You. The TV show starring Tom Hadley on Netflix, which was originally on Lifetime, I believe.
I think so. I only watched it when it was on Netflix.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's based on a book series as well.
Mm-hmm.
It has had 5 seasons. So season 1 was on Lifetime. Season 2 to 5 has been on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it is about a young man named Joe who falls in lust with
Obsession.
a young woman and will stop at nothing to make her his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the initial premise. And season 1 follows Joe and his obsession, Beck. They get together through Joe's sort of meddling and spying. He kills her ex, he kills her best friend, and he sadly ends up killing Beck because she figures out that he's been being a little bit of a sneaky murderer.
Yeah.
Following that, he leaves. Before, because like Beck dies, kind of seems sorted, and then lo and behold, Joe's ex turns up, and she's like, "Hey man, do you remember when you tried to kill me? You gotta pay for that." And so he decides to leave New York and hide out in LA. And when he gets to LA in season 2, he sees Love, Quinn, and he becomes obsessed with her.
Yeah.
And he concocts a way to get to Love, make Love fall in love with him, and then he learns that Love has killed his ex-girlfriend for him and has killed his neighbour because she found out about him. And just as Joe's about to kill her, she says, "I'm pregnant." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And they get married and move to the suburbs. So in season 3, we're with Joe and Love and their son Henry. And you think, wow, Joe's finally got what he wanted, which is the woman of his dreams who is fine with him being a murderer. And they have a baby. They have the perfect life. But Joe becomes obsessed with his colleague at work, Marianne, and decides that he doesn't love Love. Love is a bad person because she loves to kill, and ends up killing Love and pinning the other murders, because he has done quite a few murders to this point as well still. Kills Marianne's ex-husband. He kills a neighbour because Love kills a woman that he was going to have an affair with.
Yeah.
Joe then has to kill another neighbour to frame him for that murder. Love then kills he then kills Marianne's husband, and then Love locks Sherry and Carrie, their neighbours, in the the box in the basement, and Joe kills her and pins everything on him, on her. Season 4, Joe has followed Marianne, who has at this point figured out, well, Love has told her that he's not a good guy. She's fled to Paris with her daughter. Joe tracks her down. Joe seemingly takes no for an answer for the first time and leaves Marianne alone. Travels to London, becomes a lecturer, and is just trying to, again, hide out and start a new life. But midway through the season, we find out, Joe finds a dead body in his house. What's going on here?
Yeah.
He's stuck in this game of cat and mouse with this murderer who is trying to rope him into their big plot. But lo and behold, by the midpoint, we find out there is no cat and mouse game. Joe has been tricking Joe into doing the murders because Joe is mentally ill now. And he's mentally ill because he had to give his son up, is the idea. Anyway, he's done these murders. He knows to figure out how to get out of these murders. Turns out he didn't let Marianne go. He put her in a box as well. So his student figures out what he's doing, finds Marianne, saves Marianne's life, essentially. Joe thinks he's killed her, but he hasn't. And then he manages to seduce another woman who, again, he tells, I've killed people. And she says, well, I killed some people once too, by accident, for my workplace. And they're like, wow, we're soulmates. And she marries him, takes him back to New York, and gets him back his name. Because up until this point, he's been living under an alias. He can now go back to being Joe Goldberg. Season 5 is essentially the reckoning. Joe and Kate and Henry are all together, perfect family, living their lives. Kate's got siblings called Reagan and I don't remember what this other sister's name is now. I want to say Abby, but I don't think it is.
It may be. Sorry, I did have. Yeah, you may have.
It'll come to be twin sisters called Reagan and something. She's got a brother called Teddy, and they're all on the board. Or Teddy wants to be on the board, but he's not because he's the illegitimate child because he's black. And when Kate has issues with her family on the board, Joe is like, I'm happy to kill anyone you ask me to. And she's like, yeah, don't really want to kill people. And he's like, well, I actually feel like we should kill people. So I'm going to go and take some initiative and kidnap one of your sisters and then...
Maddie, I think.
Maddie. Yeah. And then have her kill the other sister and replace her. And then... also, I'm going to have an affair, even though I apparently have the perfect life. But it can't be the perfect life because Joe wants to kill and Kate doesn't want him to kill. And so he falls in love with Bronte. And he is going to risk it all for Bronte. And then Bronte turns out to be a fellow student of Beck, who has concocted this Bronte character to seduce Joe so he would admit that he killed Beck. And so this is Joe's reckoning. Kate turns on him. Bronte turns on him. At one point, he loses Henry. Yeah. He decides, however, when Bronte comes back that they're meant to be together. They drive out to the countryside. He's like, I don't want to have to pretend to not be who I am, and who I am as a killer. I love to kill. Really laying it on thick. Bronte turns on him, calls the police, shoots him in the dick, apparently. Yeah. And then he goes to prison. And everybody else's life is much better.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great summary of 5 seasons.
Which I watched in the last week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think...
Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I would recommend the first 3 and then take a break.
That's what I was
going to ask you. 4 and 5... Oof. But yeah, go on.
When it moves to London, I felt like the production budget really reduced. Because it felt so
the
cheap.
palette changed. And that was also... So there was something always very rosy and sunshiny about the show. And then you get to London, it's just like bleak
and grey. And actually,
his outfits are so bleak and like weird. Like it's so put on.
Yeah, he Ben Badgley did a recap of seasons 1 to 4, and he talks about the palettes of each season, and they're all like supposed to be symbolic. Like season 1, you know, of course, you're just introduced. You get a lot of the colour of the books, the bookstore.
It's like warm.
Yeah, very warm. Season 2 is like bright because they're in LA. Season 3 is like, again, still has that brightness of like the suburbs. And then season 4 is like just dark grey.
But then it's not even London like that.
No.
Like if it was like on an estate, like on some industrial estate, or if he was living in the Barbican, I would get it. He lives. Again, we talked about this on the previous podcast. He works at Royal Holloway.
Yeah, fam.
But they act like it's a university in London, and then he lives in like East London, and he says it was a half an hour walk to. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It
actually was insulting our intelligence for the British viewers.
And I really had to. I was thinking about it today because I was like, is this actually ruining your ability to enjoy this? I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah. It actually is. And I would prefer you just didn't say it was London.
I think I had
to say he was living in a British city somewhere, and just don't call it London, and then I can suspend my disbelief that it's got this university here and this there and this there, and we could have all lived our lives. Don't say it's London and say he's done a 14-hour walk in half an hour.
I think his any show or film that do try to depict London, like the tube stations and all that kind of stuff, and they really insult our intelligence, it does take away from like my enjoyment. The worst one is definitely Complete Departure. Thor, I think Thor 2, which was like, of course, a Marvel film, and they were at Greenwich, but it was a completely different line. I think like the Piccadilly line. I was like, bruh, everything about this film is so bad. Like, of course, the CGI was cheap and everything like that, but I was like, these small little details was completely lost in the editing. Couldn't you have just changed it to like, I don't know, the Jubilee line? No one had blinked none the wiser. Like, just be accurate. Like, you filmed in London, for goodness sake. So it wasn't the greatest. And season 4 I did not like. I don't think I enjoyed that at all. Like, you can listen to our review for that. Series 5, it felt like it was like a long time between series 4 and series 5. So when the recap at the beginning of the series happened, I was like, did all these things happen in one season? I'll be honest, I found around series 5 is the repetitiveness of the story. There's a lot of cycles, and I think one thing you understand is there are such key common tropes with you, like from the glass cage to Joe's obsession with a woman who are usually his employees, like questionable. And also, my other question now, thinking of it, is how is he able to get that glass cage to like 3 different locations?
So
it's like, wow.
In the first season, because this is a thing that I think a lot of people sometimes forget about the show, he has not built that. Mr. Mooney, who took him in,
he had that before,
built the cage to it's not called a cage. It's supposed to be a place where he keeps really, really old books because they need a certain temperature, otherwise they will disintegrate.
Yeah.
He does look Joe in there.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
As a child, actually, he is a child and he gets looked in there, and I'm sure that can't be good for your brain development to have the only person take you in be kind of psychotic as well. Because why did he lock him in there? Because he was like, I don't like books. I don't know. But so that was that one. When he goes to LA, he was like, oh yeah, I've just built this myself.
Okay.
He hired a storage container, a storage unit, to build the cage for no reason, just in anticipation that he would need it. Which is a bit of a weird thing.
Like, I know I'm going to kill.
I know I'm going to need to lock somebody up.
Someone in here.
Someone's going to need to be locked up.
Yeah.
Already weird. In the 3rd season, Love builds the cage. So that's when I was like, you guys have lost the plot.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing for Joe to figure out how to make the cage, right?
Now Love does?
Now Love does. From having seen the cage once, by the way.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, because wasn't she in the cage at one point?
She was never in the cage. Love was never in the cage. She was never in the cage.
Yeah.
Joe was in the cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love was never in the cage.
Yeah, he was in there quite a few times. They've really tried to get him.
He's been in the cage, yeah, but you can never get Joe. What you need to understand is Joe can't die. He's a cockroach.
Literally.
And then 4, He builds a cage
in England.
in just a disused building. Again, nobody notices him bringing in all these massive sheets of plastic. Doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that's why I have to take the logic out of it completely, because it would continually not make sense. The idea and one of the other kind of cycles and repetitiveness that I've noticed is that for a serial killer, he probably has a success rate of about maybe 75%, 50 to 75%, because there's a lot of people that he kills or we think are dead, and all of a sudden they come back
Who
to
does he
life.
not kill?
Marianne.
Yes.
Even when Bronte is drowning, I thought she was dead.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And Kate, when she was burning in that library, I thought she was done. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the show, Kate is living and thriving. I said, "Excuse me."
Like the Marianne thing, they explain. To be fair, they literally are like, this was a scheme for us to trick Jo into thinking she's dead, and we went to a lot of trouble to make that happen, because usually Jo be killing people. He'll be killing people that he didn't even mean to kill.
Yeah.
But I thought you were gonna say Jo never misses. In terms of, once he's killed you, no one will ever know it was him.
That is true.
Joe's success rate in never being connected to, there is not a fingerprint, there is never a bit of DNA. He will kill you,
and no one
will ever know it was him.
Which is crazy, because I mean, even when he was going to kill Kate's uncle in episode 1, I swear he even touches the gate as he's walking in. I was like, that's fingerprints. Like, going in, like, someone will find this.
He's so confident. He will show the people his face.
Yeah.
The amount of times he's been looking at people dead in their face when he killed them. And I'm like, are you not scared that they might survive this? Or someone might see... No. I'm not wearing no mask. I'm not... He puts on that cap. He thinks he is the invisible man. There is nobody there. Nobody can see him. He puts a cap on. Who is that man?
Yeah.
Who is that man?
It's true. I think that scene where it's between, not him and Maddie, is the other sister. What's her name? Reagan. And they're in her house and they're fighting, and she's got the bowling ball and they're really going at it. And I was like, he's so exposed. Like, everything about this scene is so exposed. Even though she had suspicions that he was evil, the fact that he is like truly showing his colours is surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the stakes, or maybe the stakes for him were low. He was like, I don't care.
He literally doesn't. And I think that's what makes season 5 quite hard to connect with.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have anything to lose, it feels like. Like, he doesn't care about Kate anymore.
Yeah.
He's telling Bronte he loves to kill. Yeah. So... even if I kill you and I don't succeed and you go and tell people, I kind of don't care.
True.
He doesn't care about anything. And I think that is also the problem with, I think, Henry being there. Is because Henry being there, you want it to be like, no, Joe's going to be like, I only protect Henry and that's it. Like, I will never put Henry in harm's way. He could give two shits about Henry.
That's the thing. I found it hard to believe when he was like, you've taken my son away. I was like, since when have you been caring about... You know,
he just cared that someone was taking something from him. I don't think he cares about Henry. I truly believe, yes, he should have left. If he really cared about Henry, would have left him with Dante.
True.
Why come and collect this boy when you know you love to kill? Yeah. You're a serial killer.
Leave this man.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Leave this poor boy alone.
Yeah.
And Kate, well.
Yeah. So Kate grew up in London, in England, right?
Yes.
Okay,
it's the idea. I don't understand the family dynamic at all.
I'll be honest, it was getting to a point where all the accents were now starting to confuse me. Well, maybe it's just like Kate's got the British accent.
All of her siblings are American.
Yeah.
Her dad is American. We never meet her mum.
No, so the mum must have been British, but then Kate grew up with the mum, but I thought she lived in New York. Anyway.
But are they supposed to be blood?
There's half
full siblings.
I thought they were half. So the twins and Kate were half.
Okay, so
and
then
then
that
of
makes
course
sense.
Teddy was again half.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but at one point I was like, I find Kate so jarring in this because she's the only Brit, but also like, I don't know. I wasn't seeing the connection that much with the rest of the family, but maybe I missed something. And sometimes I found Kate's character quite annoying, but that's just a more personal feeling.
My sister said she was like, the person who played Kate can't act.
I agree.
I actually think... Well, my thing with her is she's in Fresh Meat. She, to me, is a comedy actress. I think she is out. I think she was out of place. I think she was worse in season 3, to be honest.
I can't
Oh, sorry,
remember.
in season 4. She's worse in season 4 than she is in 5. In 5, she at least had more to do because she's like mad at.
Yeah.
She's trying to get one over on Joe, but in 4, she's just like a bitch. And by 4, I think the other problem with Kate is she and the merry-go-round that is the women that Joe falls for. She's not even the most interesting of them. Yeah. And I feel like that was the mistake with one of the mistakes is you need to be ramping those women up. Yeah. You can't be ramping down. And I think maybe they jumped the gun. Maybe they didn't because they genuinely didn't think they were going to get another season.
Oh, after season 4, yeah.
After 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Love is the ultimate match for Joe.
I agree.
She keeps Joe on his toes. She keeps the story moving. She is also an unknown element to us as an audience. Yeah. Like, we can't work out whether we should trust her either. She makes a good foil for Joe, right? And she's as smart as he is. 100%. And she's as murderous as he is. Killing Love off, which of course had to, like, one of them was going to have to die. That was the way it could. Killing Love off and then having us come into 4 and it's Kate.
Bit anticlimactic.
Very.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I would have been so much more interested if that final showdown in season 5 was with Love and him.
They should. I think they should have.
Yeah.
We should come back and forth, and somehow Love isn't dead.
Yeah, like, oh, she survived the fire.
She survived.
Like honestly, logic throw it out the window. Throw it out the window because I found Love was 100% more of an interesting villain, if you want to describe, than even Bronte. Bronte, I was expecting her to die. You're sniffing at places where you shouldn't be. You're trying to find this glass cage. You're trying to find all these details about Joe. I mean, we find out that her name is Louise. We find out that she's part of this like conspiracy theory. This group that's trying to take him down. But I was like, I could easily get rid of you. Like, if Joe wants to kill you tomorrow, and he had ample reasons to, but I think again for the plot he can't kill you. I would be happy
he's
to.
in love with you.
Yeah, it was just wild.
It was just so. I felt it was really thinly drawn, and I couldn't work out if like sometimes it's like, is this good writing or is this bad writing? Right?
Yeah.
Is it good writing in the sense of like Joe by 5 has kind of lost the plot, so his interest in his obsessions is becoming less curated and more of like, who is next? Yeah. Who am I going to look at in the next 5 seconds? Whoever I look at in the next 5 seconds, I'm obsessed with her. She's going to be my new fixation. Or is it just like you guys have kind of run out of interesting characters, and so you're now just going, also Bronte? Yeah. And like Bronte is so, again, I think they needed to say that it needed to be that she'd made a lot of that up, because that character, I love books and my name is Bronte and I'm just, my book is so, Joe, you've done this now. This will be the 5th time you've fallen for a girl like this, and it's flopped every time.
Oh my god.
And maybe try and meet a girl like
the regular way
on a dating app.
I mean, but you are married.
Exactly. Bear in mind, meet a girl, you're married.
Yeah.
You don't need a girl. You have one.
Yeah.
But your problem in season 5 is that you want to be a murderer, and she doesn't want to do that. No. And he's acting like that's not a reasonable thing to ask your husband to do.
It's okay that I kill your uncle and your sisters. Like, no, you don't have. Please
don't do that.
I like literally. She's begging you.
Okay, what if I get your sister to kill your sister? I don't want anyone to get killed. I've already done it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, great, fantastic. Yeah. Like, and I'll kill your dad. And I killed your dad.
Oh my god.
By the way, and I killed all of your friends.
Basically, yeah, he ended her life.
I killed my ex-wife.
Crap, he did.
I didn't kill her brother, but I'm the reason why he died.
Oh my god.
I didn't kill my neighbour. My wife killed my neighbour. I killed my other neighbour. Oh. Actually, no, he hung himself. That's different. And I did kill Beck. And I did kill Benji.
So basically, his body count is like double digits.
He is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, he killed more people than he had sex with.
Damn.
Which is probably true. The people that he was saying I killed because I love them, that started to wear thin as well. Because he was like, oh, season 1, especially when, this premise felt so new and very fresh. It's like, look, I'm killing all these people because I love you, Beck. I don't want you to be hurt. And it just started to wear very thin when you contrast that to series 5, where it's like, Kate, I love you so much and I care for you. I must kill your uncle. And I'm like, do you even love her? Like, I don't see the connection between the two of you.
And I think that's the problem. I don't really think there's chemistry between the two of them. I don't think in season 4 even there was any chemistry between the two of them. I think that unless that's the point, and it's like Joe has stopped caring about the women and just wants to kill. But then you don't need a wife. Just advertise your services online to be like, if you're a woman in trouble, I'll kill whoever you need me to kill. I don't give a heck.
I mean, it really will wrap the show up very quickly.
I don't give a heck. What, your brother's getting on your nerves? Give me his number. I'll kill him. Like, that is my... pay me... Actually, you don't even need to pay me. I'll do it for free. I love to kill. Let that be your business then. It was just... I was struggling to understand and to follow and to empathise with Joe's motivations in season 5. And I think that's been a conversation throughout the show, is that, like, this is maybe the first time, unless someone can think of another show, where we've been in the mind of a stalker and actually the stalker has been the hero. In the sense of, like, the definition of hero in that he's our protagonist, he's our lead. He is who we see the world through. We have not really told a story like that before. And I think what that first season does, which is quite impressive, is get you to, in a sense, root for Joe. Because you can't, like, I don't mean that you want Joe to kill people. I mean that, like, Joe's goal of the series is what you are following and what you want to see if he can achieve, right? And they do that by casting someone like Pembaji, who is incredibly charming, right? By giving Joe characters that humanize him. Like in season 1, he has Paco, his neighbour, whose mum is in an abusive relationship with someone, and Joe is a haven to that boy. And then in the end, he deals with the abusive partner for them. And that is Joe saying, listen, it's not just about women. I do it for anyone I care about. I don't like that guy beating up your mum. You're a kid. No one protected me when I was a kid. I want to do this for you. And you could argue again, Joe loves to kill, maybe that's why he did it. But his relationship with Paco makes you go, oh, Joe is not a bad guy. He just has a sense of justice that's a bit skewed.
Yeah, I was going to say, like Robin Hood, but like,
yes.
I kill for the poor.
And I
kill the
kill
rich
for the rich as well.
Yeah, true. Bro, and that's actually what happened,
Yeah, I think that's another interesting thing to get into. But and in season 2 you have Jenna Ortega's character and Jenna Ortega's sister as well, who he decides, oh, these two women, I want to take care of them as well as love. And so he inserts himself into their story. It ends up being why the sister dies and why Jenna Ortega has to flee. In season 3, there isn't anything. It's Henry. And interestingly, Joe takes a really long time to bond with Henry. So it kind of feels like Joe is capable of taking care of the extent other people, but when it comes to things that actually are from him, like himself and his child, he struggles to connect. In season 4, there is no one. And I think that is maybe another problem with season 4, because every time you have one of those characters, you in your head can hold on to the idea that Joe isn't all bad. You get to season 4, Joe is all bad. And in 5, Joe is all bad. And no one really wants to watch a show about a guy who's just a murderer. And I think that's why 4 and 5 are hard watches. Like, you can't binge them like you binge the early series, because there's no real wins. There's no moments where you're like, oh, Joe might actually make it out of this and genuinely not kill people no more. No, he has now accepted that he loves to kill. And now we're just watching a show about a murderer. I didn't sign up for this when I started watching season 1. It was a guy who, yes, he did murders, but he wasn't a murderer. And now he really is just a murderer. 100%. And there's a little stinger at the end of season 5 where Joe is reading fan mail in prison, and he's like, maybe I'm not the monster, maybe it's all these people that want to consume my story, maybe it's you. And a part of me felt like that feels like a bit of a smug, like, you guys love this show, you guys are obsessed with this show, and let's not act like the show hasn't got a massive reception, and that people haven't been like, Joe, choke me. Like, people want Joe want Joe like they used to write to Jeffrey Dahmer in prison. Like, there is something about men who do dark things that some people are attracted to. But I honestly think the majority of people that watch this show were watching it because they were like, maybe deep down he's not a bad guy.
I think that's
not because we love murder and we love
Yeah.
watching men kill women. Like, there's nothing about that was good.
No, I think about season 1 and the experience, like the feelings I had. I actually really enjoyed series 1. It felt really fresh. Like, that was in 2018, which is crazy.
It was so young, pre-pandemic.
You know, a different world,
a different time.
And what I found about you, which like you kind of touched on, is like, yeah, this show ultimately is about serial killer, but it didn't feel like that. You actually, you rooted for Joe, even though he is crazy, and it had some heartwarming moments. It had some comedy moments as well. And then, of course, you had the murder. And, like, I remember when Beck was trying to escape and then he drags her from that door. And I remember that scream. I remember, like, oh, my God, that's it. It ends. And then, fades to black. And the next thing you see is her book signing where she's not there. And then I think that's where I was like, okay, look, even though the show is what it is, there's still something about Joe that you root for. You kind of like, you understand a bit of why he's doing what he's doing, even though it's completely wrong. Season 5, I cared less, but also I don't know, I kept on thinking, like, maybe because of the interviews I've seen with Penn Badgley, like, he does not like this character, and he probably does not like how this character has generated such like fans, like fanfare about him, and like almost making his character appealing when he ultimately is a murderer. But yeah, I felt that the heart was missing. The heart was lost. Even with the child, like, I started to become less and less interested. Maybe after, as we got into series 3, series 4 definitely was a write off. Like, it really wasn't great. Series 5 just felt so convoluted. Like, I knew it was the end, but I was like, look, just get to it. Are you gonna kill him or are you gonna get him in prison? Like, make the choice now, because we're dragging this, and it's just the storyline just keeps on going around in circles. Like, someone's dead, but oh no, they're not really dead, or they end up, everyone goes back to the cage. It just felt so much like it's just the cycle we've been seeing for the last 4 years.
I also think the other mistake about the show is, like, so 2 things. What you said about comedy is so true. Like, the tone of the show is so interesting. Like, it is a drama at some points. It is like the scathing commentary on like on people. Like, Joe is always observing people. He's a reader. He treats people like their books, or at least he used to. And so his commentary could be very funny. Sometimes it could be very scathing. It could be very eye-opening. Like, the tone was actually felt a little bit like we were supposed to laugh at parts of it, and like they even went as far, I think, as casting characters that were almost entirely comedic relief. Like, in the first season, you have Blythe, who's this like writer who like also is a bit of a shaman, and like, I just came from the desert and your writing mate is like orgasmic, like all of like a very particular kind of person. I honestly think, like, sometimes in the writing, like rewatching season 1, some of Blythe's lines could have come out of Girls. Like, some of, like, Blythe is one of the characters that Hannah meets when she goes to that writing course in which she does that writing course. It's like, it's the same kind of person. And, like, obviously the show's set in New York, and I was like, I wonder if they did take some inspiration of, like, we need to, like, you can play with tone in this. I don't think you want it to be this, like, dark thriller from beginning to end. And then in season 2, you have 40. And say what you will about that season, but 40 is the comedic relief. Like, 40 trying to sell his film. Like, all he's focused on is making a film. There are people dying around you.
Kim, people are dying.
Like, Kim, people are dying, Kim. You are focused on selling a movie with the murderer. You don't even know. And, like, you're like, oh, Joe, you could be a producer, well, associate producer. Like, constantly trying to downgrade him, even though he gave you the idea for the film. Anyway, it's what it is. 40 is funny. And rewatching season 2, I was like, God, imagine if 40 wasn't here. Imagine if Blythe wasn't here. Like, you need these characters. Even in season 3, like, Sherry and Carrie, or the woman who plays Sherry, are funny.
They are hilarious.
They are just funny.
They're, like,
even when they're locked in the
goofy
cage,
and-
they're funny. He
yeah.
shoots her in the ear. Like, they are so funny.
Yeah.
Where's the funny character
I
in 4?
I think four.
Where are the funny characters in 5?
5. I think it was supposed to be Maddie and what's her name, Reagan.
It's depressing.
Which I mean, it's like the whole idea of like, them being sisters and twins, and then she's impersonating Reagan after she kills her. Like, I think that was where the comic relief was, especially when the whole time I was watching the show, and I was like, who's this actress again? She's from Pitch Perfect. She has that kind of like bubbly, happy-go-lucky type of approach. Even though she's also like comically mean, like Reagan's character being comically mean. And
I don't even think she's comically mean. I think she's just mean. It's not funny.
Yeah, but I mean like exaggerated type of thing. Whereas Maddie is like exaggerated, like ditzy.
Yeah.
I think that was where our comic relief was going to be, because we were definitely not going to get it from Kate. Joe was not. Bronte absolutely not. The people even that were doing the whole TikTok. I mean, the whole conspiracy theory trying to get Joe, like, they weren't funny. So yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I think this series got tired very quickly, and they should have stopped at series 3.
Yeah, I just remember remember the rest of the point I was going to make. I also wonder if the reason why the comedy and humour starts to fade is 40 and Blythe are a very particular kind of person that it feels like the show is putting Joe in opposition to. Like, Joe is a working class person, grew up in the system, who has built himself up from the ground up, and that's why he's so street smart. That's why he's able to stalk people and have no one notice, because no one's looking for a person like Joe, right? And a Blythe character and a 40 character are the exact opposites of him, and that is why putting these two characters together is funny, because 40 doesn't know when Joe's taking the piss out of him, and Joe doesn't know when 40's taking the piss out of him. They're two shits saying past each other in the night, even though Joe still has like the upper hand. Because season 4 is Joe is now in the upper echelons.
Yeah.
Right? Because even in 3, again, he feels out of place in the suburbs. Love doesn't, because love comes from money. So again, we have Joe being out of place, but like, because he has money now, it's like, well, I'm one of you guys. And there's kind of always been a bit of a class commentary throughout the series, but I felt like it's been really like subtle, that we've always had Joe on one side and everybody else on the other. And then you get to 4, and he's working as a university lecturer, dressed like literally a character from Sherlock Holmes, or a character from Downton Abbey, living across from the richest woman in the world, in the country, and all of her rich friends. And it's like, there's no space for the class commentary, because you're in it, and you, more than that, it feels like you're trying to get in it as well.
True.
Him marrying Kate, so you're coming into 5, and now you are part of the hoi polloi. Where's the fun? You can't skewer a community that you are in. It's hard for you to make fun of the rich when you are one of the rich. And there's like a comment he makes in season 5, like thinking about Bronte being like, oh no, have I become out of touch? And it's like, yes. What is to discuss? But then you don't even have anything really interesting to say about that or do about that. And also, how old is he?
Oh yeah. Again, logic, throw that out the window, because he probably, I imagine if he was starting the show, probably in his late 20s, so say 28 plus 7 years.
I think
he's 35.
Not in his late 20s.
When he starts in series 1.
I think he's young. I think he's supposed to be younger.
Maybe.
I think he's supposed to be 25 or younger.
Bruh. So then by the time... But he ages... Like, by series 5... Series 4, series 5... Like, he's a grown man.
40.
Yeah, he's like a grown man.
He goes from 25 to 40 in 2 seasons.
Maybe that was the whole thing. But yeah, like, I would have guessed that
there's no sense of time.
No.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. There was literally no sense of time. We don't know how long it's been since the last thing.
Because, we're not given, like, this is what happened in the break. Wow.
Yeah. It's like a year has passed. You don't get any of that. But you feel like time has to have passed, because otherwise, for him to disappear, right?
Yeah.
And for no one to ever recognise him, there needs to be a decent amount of time from when you disappeared to when you start popping up. Like, your story will have gone viral because
Yeah.
a woman has killed her husband and cooked him in a pie. By the way,
That is wild.
they've put your picture everywhere, and somehow you're just walking around town, being like, "No, I'm not here."
Maybe it's like 5 years. Maybe he has aged from 25.
For 5 years.
Yeah, that's what we could have had, but I think I got to the whole point, especially when we've seen the transition from series 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, is like we're not gonna get that. Like each season brings us or plonks Joe into a new world where we meet him and we see how he navigates that world. I think 4 just felt like a massive departure, and that could have done with a bit of like, please give us a bit more background at the end of series 3 that he's gonna go there. Series 5, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was expecting to happen, but I don't know. It was a quite lackluster is the wrong word, but usually when you're in the momentum of each season, like you're really like racing and excited to get to the end of the season, I felt like we were just dragging ourselves to the end of series 5, like to the point where I was just like, kill him now, or just arrest him, make a choice, and let's finish this.
There wasn't. I think one of the issues with series 5 is that it didn't really feel like it could have any other ending but killing Joe or putting him in prison. So every episode felt like it was spinning its wheels.
Yeah.
There was never a point where you felt like, oh, there's a third option where Joe runs away with Henry, or there's a third option where Joe turns into a boat. Like, there was never a third option because Joe's focus, even in a season where it's very clear that everyone's out to get him, is to just do murder. Like, he has no motivation. Like, him writing, like, he starts the season being like, I've been writing about my murder fantasies so that I don't do them.
Yeah.
And he presents it to Kate, and she's like, this is disturbing, actually. Please stop doing that.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, fuck Kate then. I'm over it. I'm over Kate. I'm actually over Kate. Then apparently presents the same writing to Bronte, and she's like,
this is amazing.
This is cool, I guess. And he's like, I love you. I would die for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill my wife. Like, it's just, that is his only focus. And it's all muddled. Like, what is it that he wants? He wants to kill. That's it. And that as a want is not something that we can relate to. I think that's why it's hard to connect with his character as well. Like, season 1, you can connect with the want of, I want to fall in love.
Yeah.
I want to be with Beck. Like, you can connect his desires in every season up until 4. It's very clear to me what he wants. And then 4, and I think 4 suffers because 4 has that misdirective, you think you're in a murder mystery, turns out it was Joe the whole time.
And
and why?
I think
because he's just lost the plot.
Yeah, I think season 4 was an experiment, because if they didn't try something different for series 4, it would end up being the exact same narrative journey as series 1, 2, and 3. And even for series 5, I was like, they've run out of ideas because they've done everything. They could have ended the series with, you know, he could have ended the series of him like ending his own life and leaving his book there. But again, that's very similar to series 1 with Beck. Like, he could have run away and moved to another country. He did that already with series 4.
That, there's literally nothing else
he can do. It's like, oh, he can frame someone. Did that already. Or he can go to jail. That's the only thing that hasn't happened. So, yeah, I think that they were really spinning their wheels because they exhausted so many different avenues through this series. And of course, it's credit to them, but as a viewer, I'm like, give me something new, because the whole idea of serial killing becomes repetitive because you are serial killing people.
Yeah.
And the only other way it would have been different is that someone killed him. But again, we've been so close to that on so many different occasions. Maybe that should have been the alternative ending. And apparently they did film an alternate ending where
he walked off into the sunset.
I thought that he died. Sorry, let me double check.
While you're doing that, the series as a whole as well, like, Joe has quite an interesting relationship with women of colour. Like, all of his prizes are white, bar Marianne, who is a light-skinned black woman. But in the first season, when he breaks up with Beck, he starts dating his neighbour's friend, who is a black nurse. In season 2, he develops a relationship with Jenna Ortega's sister's character, whose name I can't remember. Delilah. Develops a relationship with Delilah, and they're Latina. In season 3, obviously Marianne. In 4, there isn't anybody of colour. And then in 5, someone was saying, oh, and there isn't one there either, but people were saying, oh, he also doesn't kill people of colour, interestingly. He's always sort of killing white people. But I always find it really interesting that until Marianne, they positioned those women of colour as like consolation prizes for Joe.
Yeah.
Like, the ideal is a white woman, but if he can't get the white woman, he could live a perfectly nice life with a woman of colour.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, in an alternate reality, Joe just stayed with the woman that he was dating in season 1 and never got back with Beck, and the show was finished. The show was just finished. He's like, oh, do you remember when I had that girlfriend and I was like weirdly obsessed with her? That was really bad.
That was it. Yeah.
I nearly did some things I couldn't come back from. Or in season 2, he just was like, stayed with Delilah and was just like, yeah, I'm not going to go. In fact, in season 2, I think that's the most interesting thing about season 2 is him and Love break up, and then he just isn't pursuing her.
Yeah, pursuing her back, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't pursue her. She then kind of pursues him and wants him back, and 100% kills Delilah because her and Joe have slept together.
Yeah. Well,
she's a love rival now.
Yeah, Love is basically Joe, as we said.
Yeah.
Like that was his biggest competition, his biggest rival.
She says, I deliberately, like, after we took that break, I was doing everything I was setting things up so you could watch me. I was setting things up so you could, like, find me again. And instead you're going and having sex with Delilah in an alleyway and getting arrested. Which happens.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to the other thing, which is, in season 1, this is something I forgot, and I think I forget. I guess blot out of my memory. In season 1, at one point, Joey's watching back, I think it's episode 2, and he's just, like, casually masturbating in the street watching her. And in season 2, he, like, masturbates at work thinking about Love.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy kind of likes to wank in public a lot.
He masturbates in his apartment or in the bookstore at the back,
Probably
over Bronte.
Yeah.
So he loves that. But
he
then,
loves a public wank.
But then we also mentioned before the pods that he doesn't seem to be
pump chump.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to last that long in the sack. Like, for all that obsession with the women, for that the physical and the emotional obsessions, like when he is with a woman, he doesn't seem to really connect, if you know what we're saying.
Well, I feel like, you know, in the case of the obsessions, where you have wanted this thing for so long, I guess the minute you get there, you do just blow
Yeah, I mean, your word.
Blow the load, because it's like, oh my god, I did it. Pat for me on the back.
Yeah.
But he does have that problem quite a bit.
I mean,
which I think is interesting. Like, I guess maybe it's a subtle way, because, like, people talk about impotency being behind why people kill and why people become stalkers. Like, you can't fuck, so you kill.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So maybe it's like a subtle way that the writers were trying to feed in. Like, there is more tells that this guy could be dangerous than you think.
Which, I think, it's an interesting dynamic, but also it leads into quite a lot of theories you see with, not theories, but patterns you see with serial killers. Like, sex is a motive at times, or is like another additional symptom is the wrong word, or behaviour that you notice.
Yeah.
I can't reiterate it further because I don't have any proof. So I don't have any specific examples. So I'm gonna just leave it there.
People always say that there is a saying that says there's a thin line between sex and violence. And in this 3rd season, Joe and Love are not having sex, and then they kill someone, and then suddenly they are having the most passionate sex they've ever had. And I think Love says that, like, this is, I think, the best sex we've ever had.
Yes.
And like, it's the first kind of flag, but like, also to me felt like, of course, this is the best sex you guys have ever had.
Yeah.
You feel the most powerful when you killed someone.
Yeah, it's nice.
So yeah, in those bits when you guys are not killing, and the power is unclear and uncertain who has it, he can't get it up, and you're not attracted to him. And the minute he does something that shows he isn't impotent, as in he takes the life of someone else, suddenly you want him bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy.
the link, the line, the link is there. And so, but yeah, the only time they properly explored, like, oh, Joe he can get it up after he's killed someone, is in that season. And also, he says, like, this, I don't like this. Like, I don't like where this is headed, where it's like, we can only do this because we've done a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that bad? I think that's why season 3 is so interesting, and why Love is such a good partner for him, because she holds up that mirror. Like, only because you've been able to do this with Love, are you be able to look at Love and say, well, I don't really like that this is how we get off with each other. Like, I don't like, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
However, this is what you got.
Yeah. I mean, there is a self-awareness in series 3 that he lacks throughout the
Yeah,
rest of the season.
he loses it. I feel like season 4 just is missing a bit of an emotional beat about why he's gone from, like, because him giving up Henry is hard, and you get the sense that it is hard in 3, but not to the point where it's like, and now he's having a psychotic break, which is what 4 is. 4, essentially, the whole of 4 is a psychotic break that Joe is having, that they tell us is because he's had to give Henry up and kill Love, but he's killed people before and given people up.
It hasn't changed.
And it hasn't made him have a psychotic break, so what's different here? So, I don't know, I just think they needed to show that a bit more rather than tell us, because it just, to me, didn't really land. I just found myself, I feel like season 4 opens and I'm just like, what show is this?
Yeah, it was completely different, but again, I think it's the location, it's the palette, it's the tone, it's the story, it's the network of people we're like, introduced to, it's different.
Yeah, everything so just a different show.
I think, going back to the alternative ending, so the co-creator Greg Berlanti said that he has an idea for the ending, which was to let Joe get away with it, to let him have everything he thought he wanted and just be absolutely miserable.
But isn't that every season is him getting away and absolutely getting exactly what he wanted?
Yeah.
Apart from season 1, he does not get what he wants very much in season 1, but in season 2, he does get what he wants. He doesn't want it anymore, but this is what he said he's always wanted. I want a family, I want a kid of my own, I want someone who loves me. Yeah. Love loves him.
Yeah. And
so what's the problem?
Then apparently there was also a very early iteration of the series finale that saw Joe find out he was a ghost after being shot by Bronte. I swear, that better be a joke.
That would have pissed me right off. I would actually throw my TV.
Yeah, it reminds me of The Crown, and that episode where, like, the Queen is speaking to... Was it The Crown? Where there was, like, a ghost iteration?
I don't know.
You haven't watched it. But I think that the Queen is talking to someone. I was like, yeah, this is wild.
She was a ghost.
Oh, no, it was Diana. Was it Diana and the thing and the... Anyway.
God, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was... The
only finale alternative I would have accepted would be... I don't know.
I think if he ended his own life, maybe that would have been different.
I would have been actually interested to see... By episode 6... Joe is in prison. Like, let's just stop wasting time. He's in prison.
Yeah.
Joe's life in prison is however he's become.
Yeah.
Like, the most popular guy in there.
Yeah, of course.
And he's giving people tips on how they can get girls.
Oh, God.
And people are like, tell me more. He's basically a cult leader in that prison. And that's where he learns he never liked women at all. He needed brotherhood.
I mean, he definitely needs friends.
He needs friends. He doesn't. The man has one friend, the guy in the Philippines, and now he's had to say bye to him.
As we spoke about, maybe black friendships is what he needed because, like, there's a beauty to them. And the thing is, to your point you made earlier about like his second love interest was always a person of color. I hate that. I hate it to a core. But that being said, I would like protect our black women from a serial killer.
100%.
But I also
And listen,
yeah,
some of us want to live vicariously through those women.
I'm okay.
So if he wants to hook up, I'm gonna watch.
Like, I just
the better for me.
I hate that kind of premise. Like, you're the second.
I don't. It's interesting because I don't know why they made those choices. Because you're right, it never reads well. It doesn't read well. And I think it's interesting that Marianne is the girlie in season 3 because it kind of feels like people have said, "What? If we've got to watch Joe get with another white girl, I'm fucking been in the show." So they go, "Well, this time it's Marianne." And we're like, "Okay, Joe."
I remember thinking that he doesn't have a type. He actually doesn't. But
Bad
he probably
bitches
does.
Is the only thing that he likes.
Exactly, strong, independent women of the 21st
mentally ill
century.
women.
Not mentally ill. No. Oh God.
I mean, Marianne was a crackhead.
Oh yeah, she was.
So
God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He only dates broken women. And then he serves to break them further. Like that's the gift he says he does. Your dad didn't love you, and neither will I.
That was actually scary, absolutely scary. But yeah, I think for me, should we just do the ratings, or did you have any other points?
No, we can go straight to the ratings. We can go to the ratings.
Yeah, let's go to the ratings. Maybe we can do it for the series and the season.
Okay.
Season 5. Season 5, I would probably give it like a 2.5 out of 5.
I wouldn't even. I would actually just give it a 1.
What?
I thought it was so boring.
It was dry, but like
it was so boring. There was not one aspect of it that I was excited by. There was one conversation that I played through, which is Reagan and Maddie's conversation in the book. Yeah. This is the only tension in this series so far that I've actually cared about, which is what are you gonna do? Kill your sister, but your sister sucks.
Yeah, so it's like someone's gonna die,
but at the same time, who and I'm genuinely intrigued by this. Everything else, just to me, the tension I don't care.
I think it's because we've seen it all before. Yeah, that's honestly what I feel like. It's just a repetitive cycle. But for the season, the series overall, I think about when Series 1 came out. It was fresh. It was new. Penn Badgley in a completely different character than we've ever seen him before. Okay.
He's not that different from Dan Humphrey.
Dan Humphrey who kills, but still in a sense, like, this character is, I think the unnervingness and the fact that the unassumingness of Joe is what kept his character alive for this early episodes, early seasons, because you was like, didn't expect it from him. But I thought it was a great show overall. We can nick 4. We can nick parts of 5. Nicks. Time is going.
No, we're going to get there. Come on.
Yeah, we can nix 4. We can nix part of 5. Because we do need to end the series. But you could have ended it in series 3.
I think I agree with you. Nix 4, nix 5, and have the ending be Joe walks off into sunset, leaves Henry with Dante. We don't see Joe again.
I'm gonna
and then pick up the series.
Okay.
Again, 2 years later, recast Joe.
Yeah.
Joe is in a different part of the world. Start his story again from scratch.
No, I love the idea that you said before on after pod. Do you want to do it, or I'll say
you
my
can say
rating?
It.
No, I was going to say my
rating.
You
say your rating. Say your
rating.
So
my rating, if I was going to finish the whole show, I'll give it 3.5 out of 5.
I'm gonna. This season 5, like I said, 1. I actually don't want to rate the whole show. I really would say, if you were talking to me and you were like, should I watch you? I would say watch seasons 1 to 3. I would give seasons 1 to 3 an 8 out of 10. It's genuinely an entertaining, fun show to watch.
Yeah.
There is the way it plays with form. There's an episode that Beck narrates. People forget about that. There's an episode where Love is texting 40. And so we get some of her narration, way it plays with...
Well, Bronte did the same thing in season 5.
Okay, about Bronte.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear about that.
Not me rapping for series 5.
like those breaks with the format draw your attention to, I guess, how effective it is in getting you into people's inner worlds.
Yeah.
And also, every episode, every season, there's a playing with the format in terms of like chronology and time.
Yeah.
In season 1, there's the Joe gets into an accident and he's breaking into Peach's house, and he keeps basically passing out and like remembering his time with Candace or thinking he's talking to Candace, and it like just really plays with the format of the episode because you don't know what's real and what's not real. Same thing happens in 2 when 40 spikes him with LSD and he keeps waking up and seeing blood on his hands.
Oh, yes.
But then no one else can see the blood, and then later on you find out what's her name was killed, the girlie, and you're like, oh, it all came together. And then in 3 he gets measles. No, he gets measles. He never got his MMR because he never got his jazz because he was in the foster service. So he's basically got a fever and having hallucinations and having conversations with Beck and this person while he's trying to stay awake. And all of those, I think, give us a key into his brain, which I think is really nice, but not overhand, like heavy-handed. The way that season 4, by being like the whole series has been a psychotic break, has been like, no,
this doesn't feel right. Yes.
No, this doesn't feel right. So for those reasons, I would watch first 8 seasons, give it 8 out of 10.
Nice.
And honestly, I would give Penn Badgley a 10 out of 10.
Of course you would. How did you feel about his Spirit Tunnel on the Jennifer Hudson show?
I felt very much like, that's my man and I'm going to step beside him. Like,
great.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. At some points I had to take a break watching the show because I was like, this man is so hot. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't see it,
He
but
is absolutely just perfect. Like,
I'm so happy
I
for you.
think he's perfect. I honestly feel like if I met him in real life, they would fire me.
I'm so happy that you love that.
I'm glad that you're happy. Like, I wasn't telling it to you for your approval. That's what's crazy. Like, you always want to just jump in and say you don't find him attractive. Like, when you tell me about your uggos that you like, I don't come in here and tell you nothing. Like, let me have my little man. Like, damn.
Yeah, you're right, little.
See?
Yeah.
And for the record, listeners, Shoshana will never meet my partner.
No, I won't.
She'll be watching on Instagram.
Are you mad?
My wedding.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you mad?
Because
I'll
I
be
don't want
there.
anybody. No, you won't. Because I don't want anybody saying anything about my little husband.
I won't. Why are you calling him little? You don't know he's gonna be little.
Listen, Penn Badgley hit me up.
You know what I would say? Like, I've watched some of his interviews. He's very charming.
His voice is.
Yeah, he's
10 out of 10.
so charming.
He can read me. He can read me.
Oh God.
He could read me my house is being repossessed, and I'd be like, wow. He could tell me I was being made bankrupt.
Oh my Lord.
He could tell me I was losing a kidney. I'd be like,
oh God.
Stop.
I'm finished.
Penn.
I will say one thing about the show. I know we've finished our ratings, but that shows an example of a good voiceover.
It's mostly voiceover.
It is mostly voice, but how to use it correctly. Because there was a time when we were doing loads of reviews and the voiceovers were just wild. It was unnecessary. Like, why do we have this? And that's a good example of how a voiceover drives plot.
Someone once did, I think it was Netflix even, did a comparison of a scene of you without the narration.
Yeah.
It was so like, what the fuck? Like, the narration is so key. It's just like, it's just Joe like looking around the corner for like 4 minutes. You're like, what?
Can we hurry up?
What's happening? It's like, oh, usually we'd be hearing him saying stuff. It's like, it must be such a weird thing to act out as well, to be like, okay, so we're going to need you to go like this, but then stay, because we need to time it for the...
Oh, yeah, true. You probably...
Someone's playing it in the studio, so we know how long he needs to be like...
Because it's one of those things, you get him to act it out first, and you get him to narrate it, so he's watching what he's seeing to narrate over it. Goodness me. And I mean,
it's in the script as well, so you would know this is going to be narration, but like... Yeah, it must be it was a very funny clip where he was like, see, the show is silly. It's a silly show. And
like,
I'm so
yeah.
He's so funny.
I think, like, if you ask him in years to come, like, what's his favourite and what his worst role is, he will say the role he hated the most was probably you, but it's the one that's put him into the stratosphere.
What else has he done? Relax. Let's not get silly.
I just think it's because he hates the idea of the characters. Mind you, that character has made you bank. So
Don't listen. You can hate him for now. Let's see where we're at in 10 years, because maybe
true.
you won't feel that strongly about it no more.
True.
Okay?
That's true.
That's babe.
That's true. Okay, so what are we doing next time?
So next week we will be talking about Cheat and The Honesty Box, 2 new dating formats. One is on Netflix, the other Cheat is on Netflix, The Honesty Box is on Channel 4, and
we don't have enough dating formats alone.
So we're just gonna, I think, talk about sometimes whether like these formats really don't matter, and it's just getting the couples on the screen and letting them destroy themselves.
Yeah, my biggest question is how do you bring them on to begin with?
Yeah,
I mean that's something that
was on my mind throughout Cheat.
Yeah,
so
same.
we'll look forward to talking about that.
I mean, I would love one day for us to like interview a casting person,
100%.
like, just because
or someone who's been on the show.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like the casting team are able to identify these red flags, and I think we need people out there to do that, to do the Lord's work, because if they can see the flags,
you should be able to see the flags.
100%. But anyway, we're moving on to the dating world again. I feel like coming up very soon, like we're probably going to get some Love is Blinds returning.
Probably.
Maybe the UK one coming up soon. Maybe. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but not for next week. Great. Well, that has been you, and we want to thank you.
So proud of myself.
I am honestly for listening to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana
and Shoshana
and Marnie and Marnie
and Marnie
and you.
And you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.